Hello, YouTube. Sorry for the delay. I don't know what it is with my internet. I've got Spectrum, and I don't know. They've been great to me until last week and this week. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I am here with Tyadran as usual. I've just taken to calling this Flame Dragon Thursdays. Hello, Kareka. Hopefully the rest of chat finds their way over.
Yeah, hopefully.
But without further ado, you got your script up.
Which chapter are we on? That's what I was trying to recall.
Already did that. We are on Chapter 14, Route B.
Chapter 14?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
It was 3 down. I remember. I believe, anyway.
We'll certainly find out.
Yep. Lego, we already did the stuff we had to do.
Yep.
Chapter 14. The Black Dragon King. Again.
Red, you're finally here.
Black Dragon King, who is your true identity?
Huh? Who am I? I was originally a child of an ordinary family. More than 10 years ago, your royal family's army suddenly broke into my home. Not only did they kill my parents and younger brother, but they also set fire to our home. Fortunately, Dis saved me and not only raised me, but also told me why your royal family wanted to attack my house.
Did we get that backstory in the other route?
I don't believe so. Let me check the dialogue from the other route. Black Dragon King.
Yeah, I don't think we did. I'm just trying to keep tabs.
The dialogue there, they're talking about recognizing the Red Martial Saint is telling them, "Oh, it's the Black Dragon sword and the Black Dragon armor."
Oh, okay.
And they're basically talking about his equipment. And then it had the one for the line from Elio, "Bah, another one who only knows how to fart." Guy.
Oh yes, the
his real great insult.
The signature line. I like both. I like talking about his gear and like because we kind of added lore that way. But his back, I don't know. I almost feel like those should be inverted. But then again, yeah. I don't know how you would do that when that's the guy that knows the stuff. I don't know. Hey, I seem to have heard this process somewhere. Brotherette, isn't this what happened to you? It's just that the roles of the royal family and the demons have been reversed.
It turns out that I was the new ruler chosen by God. Your royal family is afraid of this fact, so that's why they did this murder. Fortunately, my life was not cut off. Now that I have obtained the Black Dragon sword and the Black Dragon armor, I no longer need to pretend to surrender to Hutch. Got off!
Got off?
That's what it says.
That is what it says.
It seems that he was investigated by... No, not investigated. It seems that he was instigated by Dis and wanted to rebel again.
Wait, can you let me see your true face first?
Huh, what are you planning?
I once saw a man who claimed to be the Black Dragon King, back in the Welcome Cave.
Wasn't it the Phantom Cave or something?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Phantom Cave.
Okay.
What? How is it possible? I've never been to that place.
Well, can you confirm that for me? Let me see your face, just for a moment.
That's all? Just think of this as your last request before you die.
This... Zhang looks so much like Brother Red. Maybe he really is Ray, but Dis used magic to instill false memories. Now this is troublesome. Uncle Sonic. If he's really my eldest brother Ray, what should we do? Today, the thing we should do is try not to take his life. After subduing him, I'll try to see if I can restore his original memory.
What are you still mumbling about? Oh, I just noticed it now. I wasn't anticipating that you would find the Flame Dragon sword and Flame Dragon armor. It seems that I have to deal with you first, or you might become a serious problem for me in the future. Come on!
Seems that we can't avoid this battle. Everyone, I hope that when you deal with the Black Dragon King, you will try not to hurt him. This may be very difficult and an unreasonable request, but I beg you to be as merciful as possible so we can find out the truth.
Since it is your highness's command, we will do our best to comply with your orders. This is really troublesome.
I like that, I guess, is supposed to be a thought bubble, because it's in parentheses.
I think he's, like, whispering to himself, probably.
Oh, yeah, that works, too.
Don't you dare... Are you too afraid to come up here? Alright, everyone, go on! Kill them all!
The way that line is written, don't you dare to go up. Okay, everyone go up. Give them all I killed it.
I mean, yeah, it's in English right there.
You're right, those are words that I've seen in the dictionary before. I don't think they mean the things they mean in this sentence, but that's fine.
Kareka says, I got a fever, and the only prescription is more Flame Dragon Knights. This might be the last stream of Flame Dragon 1.
Yeah, it might be possible for us to finish the game tonight. That's kind of what I'd like to do.
Same. I've got my energy drink here. It is, what is it called? Ring Pops? It doesn't taste the most like Ring Pops. Okay, this is... We've done something similar to this.
I believe...
It might be the same map, just a different...
I'm double checking, but I believe it's the exact same map.
I think you're right. It was the gold guy before.
Let's see.
It was the mission after we got Kaya. Because the guy had like 7 move, and there was the Berserker that was like the mid-boss.
Oh, no, this is a similar map. But not exactly
similar?
the same. I mean, it's a big field leading up to a castle wall. This map is quite larger and has trees in the bottom left, which isn't in the other version. Also, the bridge is longer, and there's like land on the other side of the bridge, where on the old map it goes straight to the wall.
Maybe
but the thing...
one day we'll get Flame Dragon Knight 2 streams. Methinks you will.
That's the plan.
With maybe some special things in between, wink wink.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some special things that I should have gotten to a little bit earlier, wink wink.
But I was noting that this battle is the exact same as the same fight on the other route.
Okay.
The only difference, obviously, is the units we have.
Or don't have.
Or don't have, in this case. That's true.
You do miss the Giga Chad gargoyles of the other route.
Oh, don't we all?
Who's to say? We might get there. I'm not so sure they're not going to show up. I would be kind of surprised if, just given the resources they seem to have had. Also, I can up the,
Oh yeah, give us faster game.
Let's do that. What is the... Oh man, what was it? Why is it not working? I don't remember what it was. Do you?
It was one of the F keys, I thought, but I don't remember what.
Yeah, I'm pushing it and it doesn't seem to be working. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's working. I have to be, I was in the command window, and I have to be...
Oh, you have to be in the actual game.
I have to be in the game window.
Gotcha.
I also learned, because, spoilers, I've talked about I'm going to do some other Flame Dragon videos, because I really like this series. I think it's fun. Wow, he has a lot of move. So I decided I needed to rip the Flame Dragon background music as best I could, so I've been doing that.
Okay.
And I'll probably upload that separately, so you'll just see those like background music tracks show up, because I do not think that's going to get me copyright claimed, and
I sincerely doubt it.
That doesn't really exist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then let's say he's got a crazy range. We'll be okay.
That reminds me, incidentally, the other night, I was trying to do everything I could to find, like, all the information possible about Shining Force Chronicle. And there was really nothing.
I saw some rips of that the other day.
I found on YouTube 4 rips of its music.
Okay.
And 1 video that has 3 screenshots interspersed with other fan art of Shining Force.
Oof. Yeah, I've
and
not
I was
delved
like,
into that yet.
I was like, you know what? I mean, that makes sense. It was Japanese only. I'm looking on YouTube. I went to Nico Nico.
It's a Japanese-only mobile game for those of you, and it's no longer on the market. So
yeah,
for you guys to know what we're talking about. And I believe it is just their port. There's like 3 of them, and they're ports of CD and Final Conflict.
Correct. Although they're more ports. They're ports of the Guidance rather than CD. I would say the art is closer to the original games than it is to the CD art.
Okay.
But I looked on Nico Nico, both under the name of the game in English and in Japanese. There is nothing there.
Wow.
Like, there is no video anywhere of this game existing. And looking around anywhere else online, you can't find articles, you can't find screenshots, you can't find anything. Like, this... I get that it came out in, I think it was 2005. It was 3 or 5, but the fact there's just 0 documentation of this game existing anywhere is absolutely wild to me.
See, I think that because I'm used to things like Fire Emblem, where, like, somebody's gonna do it. Like, did you know there's like 1 million Fire Emblem novels?
I didn't.
Yeah, I just learned the other day there is a guy that's, like, trying to catalog all those.
I mean, it's like the same way that almost nobody realizes there is at least 1 Shining Force novel.
Yes.
I don't know if there's more than 1, but I know about the post-Shining Force 1 one.
Yeah, I don't believe there is more than 1. But yeah, like, with the Shining stuff, I've come to the realization, unfortunately, that it's like, if I don't know by name who is doing it, it potentially is just not happening.
Yeah.
Most people, it feels like, that really, really care about this series have kind of found each other.
It does kind of seem that way, doesn't it?
And I'm still really grateful for that we can, you know, all come from such different beliefs and backgrounds and work together towards these this common goal of trying to preserve some of these things and unearth some of these things.
Well, no one else is doing it.
Nope. And it's kind of one of those things that, like, you know, you see people post every so often that it's like, I would like this, or I want this, and it's like, okay, but, like, at some point, we're hitting points where if you're not doing it, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and that really is a lot of things where it's like, people talk about things they want, or stuff like, wouldn't it be so cool if it's like, yeah, it would. Do it.
Yeah.
Because if you'll do it, it'll get done, but no one else is going to do it. Everybody who wants to work on, like, fan games or fan projects and stuff already is. Like, they can't get involved with more things.
And is working probably on more than one.
Oh boy, I can only speak for myself and Griff, but absolutely the 2 of us are in that boat.
I know Erican is very, very, very much that way as well.
Is he?
Yeah.
He seemed a little better at sticking to one project and seeing it through, but
I
also don't follow his work closely.
He doesn't seem to take on other people's projects, but if somebody says, I really cannot figure out how to get, like, X running or X working, him and Zeno are both pretty good about, send it to me, let me troubleshoot.
Gotcha. I think I must have annoyed Zeno too much, because he hasn't replied to me lately.
I think he's very busy.
Understandably. But also pestered him a lot.
Yeah. I mean, he is one of the few people in the community, other than you, that knows how to, like, I think, code from scratch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I hardly know ASM. I'm more of, like, a regular programmer.
I don't even know what that means, so...
ASM?
Yeah.
That's assembly language. It's what this game is written in. It was written in Sega Genesis assembly for the Motorola 68K processor.
I see.
Which basically, it means programming stuff into Shining Force is not like typing out words like when you look at real, like, regular modern-day programs. It's like, here's this command to move a byte from here to here. Here's a command to move this byte from there to this other place. Compare these 2 bytes, if they're the same, then set a bunch of random 1-bit flags. It's like, it's such low-level programming. It's almost a lost skill in this day and age.
I see.
And that's why it's so rare to find people who know how to do it. Because if it was just programming, there would be plenty more people. But it's not.
Hey, Ramtasm Enjoyer, glad to see you found your way back. Yeah, also, I never made my original point. I was ripping the... Like I said, I was getting the files for music for Flame Dragon as best I could. And I thought, because of Nick's help in telling me about these cycles and stuff, I was like, haha, this is going to be really simple. I am going to load up a level where they're playing the track that I need, and I'm going to slow the cycles so much that it takes forever for anybody to do anything. And then I'm just going to be able to rip stuff freely, because there won't be sound interference. Because the music is separate from the cycles. That's how, when I speed it up, the music is not going double speed. It ain't totally separate from the cycles.
No.
No. If you slow it down, the music does slow down as well. Past a certain point. So now I'm like... It's not... It just isn't quite that simple. I am probably going to have to do some sound engineering, which I think I'm capable of, and string it together. If I don't want... And then even then you might hear like some footsteps in the background. Just a little bit, just ignore that.
It'll be like the sound rips from one of the old anime I like, where it's just like they tried to isolate stuff from the music as best they could, but every now and then you have like footstep noise.
Yeah, like I'm doing the best I can, and you could do better. Like, you definitely could. That's a lot of archers. I'm a little concerned about that.
But the question is, will someone do better? And the answer is no.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna talk to some people about, I don't know, maybe making this slightly easier to find. And then we'll see. I don't think that a super dedicated Flame Dragon community is gonna pop up overnight. I also don't know if anybody knows how to rip files from DOS stuff. I'm sure those people exist. I don't know if they care enough about this.
I don't know. I mean, there's surely people who know how to do it.
What is this support? This does sound like Sound Blaster. Curious if it has other sound card supports. The fact that you have a name for that shows, Kareka, that you are way more advanced at this than I am already. I have no clue. No idea.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got some kind of arcane wisdom, I'm sure we could use it.
The problem is, I think we went over it on, like, one of our other super late night streams. I read, like, all the file types. And it was a lot of, like, yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I don't recognize a lot of the stuff. I don't remember if it was on stream or if it was just our post-stream discussion.
I can't remember.
But yeah, I remember talking about it with you and us just being like, yeah, I've never heard of that thing.
Yeah, I didn't, like, I don't know. There's some support for DOS stuff. Not, like, a ton. But there's some. With, like, the DOSBox, like, kind of has a community going and, like... Because before I even found files for this game, I found people saying that it was compatible with DOSBox. And so I'm like, okay.
So people have at least, like, tried it kind of thing.
I guess. I don't know how. Because a lot of the builds that I found were definitely not compatible with anything. They were terrible. I mean, you heard some of that like, the volume would, like, freak out.
Yeah, it's true.
I didn't know why, and I still don't totally know why. Is this a heal, or is this a big boom? I don't remember. Let's find out. Okay, it's a big boom.
Nice. Just what we wanted.
That is what I wanted. But we missed.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So normally, Games this old didn't have sound files, but commands they would send to a sound card, which would then emit the sound, as the only files back then was .wav, which were too huge. Ah. I see. So what you're saying is, it would be even more difficult than I think.
It would be more of a you have to decompile the game kind of situation.
I would need something to convert those, program to convert those signals into something else. But then that makes me wonder, could I then just swap out what those sounds are and, like, play it on different instruments, like, easier?
I mean, theoretically, I would think so.
That could be an interesting project. I really wanted him to get that. Because Barato needs to heal. If I can get both of them down, then... Ooh, that was good. Hey, Bowie. Good to see ya. I'm thinking that if I can get some of these guys knocked out, we can get Kaya over here to block and take some of those. But I didn't super set myself up for that. Where are the Saints when I need them?
That's a good question. I guess they're just chilling in this plot line.
That was a rhetorical question, but yeah, now that you like answer it, yeah, what are they? Are they just in the tower and nobody ever goes to get them?
Where are they? I mean, they must be. Like, they've got to be somewhere.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on! Are you kidding me?
Rado, my guy.
That was Shyvana.
Oh, that was Shyvana?
Yeah, but I think Barato might die because of that. Or Shyvana might die because of that. We'll see what their priority is. Hey,
Yeah.
Fire Roy. Oh, I missed it again. What did you miss, Bowie? I didn't think you missed anything. You missed the start, but like we've been going for very little time. You haven't missed much.
Yeah, just barely. We ran into some technical difficulties that delayed us a bit.
Yeah, the only thing you need to know is that he took off his helmet and he looks like Rhett's brother, Ray.
Although, for whatever reason, he put his helmet back on, I guess.
I mean, he's going into battle, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Good point. I'm so used to important characters in RPGs just not wearing helmets.
Yeah.
I'm conditioned to find that weird.
Okay, we'll put Kaya up front. You just gotta heal. And we'll pray for you. Same for you.
Thoughts and prayers.
Saints just off screen taking a smoke break. Yeah, it does seem that way. Normally, .midi is just a notation. You can switch sound fonts around. I knew that to some extent. Okay, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Spread that damage around a little bit. I'm also putting Rhett up there because he is a force to be reckoned with right now. Because he's got the Flame Dragon sword and the Flame Dragon armor.
Yeah. It gives him such a huge instantaneous power increase.
It does. It's like when your main character gets their plot-related class change.
Not to mention it's 3 range, which is ridiculous.
Oh, it's insane.
It's so different from being a sword-locked lord in Fire Emblem.
Yes. My favorite Fire Emblem, Ike, he definitely, when he gets his Ragnell sword, the gold one, that is his, like, it's 2 range, it's unbreakable, like, that's his Flame Dragon armor moment. I know that's what they were thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that the Tellius games are actually a Flame Dragon Knights spinoff.
Alright, we gotta get rid of some of these guys. I wish she was better placed, but this will have to do. Okay, she hit both at least. Yeah, because I'd like to get Rhett over to deal with that. I kind of could. I'm already within range.
Yeah, actually. The main thing is just he's taking a lot of attacks if he gets stranded up there.
I think that's okay.
I don't remember how strong the enemies in this chapter are. They're in like the mid to high 200s generally.
Yeah, it's kind of manageable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use his attack last. Let's go in with these guys first. They don't want to target Shyvana that much for some reason.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that he does have good defense.
Oh my gosh. He is being terrible.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't say anything about his accuracy.
Okay. We'll put Clone up here.
I mean, some of these do have 50 evasion, so... Well, what was he stabbing? A sniper? It's only 43 evasion.
Okay, she doesn't have aura yet.
Nah. She isn't... Is she even promoted? Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
I forgot, we
get
experienced like crazy.
Yeah, we have been.
I remember that we weren't promoted last stream, and then, like, we just gained ludicrous amounts of experience.
Okay, who hits harder? You do 326, you do... Okay, you hit almost 100 harder. Come on.
Elio, dude.
There we go.
Nice job. I didn't expect Loga to hit that hard.
I kind of didn't either. What is their defense? 86. That's
I guess the snipers are a lot lower than everyone else. That makes sense.
I guess I'll let him just keep having fun playing with our back line. There's
Sure.
not a whole lot else I can do. You need deals. I could send him back to, like, start dealing with that. Do that.
Yeah, we don't need him chewing up the back.
I mean, that didn't do much, but... Okay, we're gonna attack into the big guy with Ret.
Okay.
And we'll get Ret up here blocking some. Yes!
Very nice.
That was almost 2 full levels.
Yeah.
Okay, now Sonic can deal with something.
I do love to see that we're still getting ridiculous amounts of experience.
Do I want to do that, or do I want to... Probably not. We'll do that. Okay, that's everybody. Yeah, he really doesn't take much damage from that guy.
No.
Karis takes a lot more.
Have we not armored up Karis, really?
Doesn't seem... I don't know, I thought we had.
I mean, I guess we can kind of tell by how much HP he has.
That's true. I'll double check that. Kaya continues to be a good tank. Clone is succeeding for once.
I mean, we just gave him some levels this time, and he's actually not bad.
Yeah.
I think it's just that we kind of dumpstered him and left him super under leveled last time.
Which maybe was not a good play.
What? I mean, he still ended up getting Elmos useful by the end of the game.
That's true.
He didn't stay totally garbage forever.
No, he didn't. I just kind of expected him to be like a little bit of a Jagan, but in hindsight, I'm like, that was not a concept that was like fully realized yet.
Yeah, no, he's really not, but I kind of expected the same thing.
This map is stark difference to the last one. A lot of melee guys as opposed to the sheer multitude of casters. Yeah.
And you know what? I generally prefer that in this
I was
game.
about to say, I like this more.
And actually, I prefer that in Shining Forces as well. I don't think there's many strategy games where I would prefer to hit an army of casters.
No.
Because an army of casters tends to be, alright, yeah, you can 1 or 2 shot them, but then on their turn, you just get absolutely destroyed.
Yes. I wonder if you can get that. I don't know. We'll see in a minute. Some of these guys I need to heal. You can start it. Yeah, I figured you wouldn't totally get that. I mean, she could at that point. I might want her to get that, though. Nah, we'll do that. There we go. Trying to decide, like, who is a threat that needs to be dealt with sooner. Is this the map where I had to quit the first time? I'm not sure which one you mean. You may have said this, sorry, I have sound off. Either way, no, but it's very similar to the one, it's very similar to another map, and we did talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's try to finish him off with Sonic. I maybe should leave some spells for the Black Dragon Emperor or whatever his name is.
What are his stats like? 560 attack, 800 HP.
What are those spells he has?
His spells are Fierce Strike and Spiritual Healing. No. Explosive Dragon Flame and Regeneration.
Okay, so he's got Aura and Blaze 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Probably 3.
Whatever the equivalent would be. He's got it.
We'll keep taking pot shots at that guy. Oh, he's so low. Do I trust Elio to get that?
Who's that Shining Force member? Oh, he's so low. Sorry, that was really dumb.
It's fine.
That was just what immediately went through my head.
Do we trust Elio to get this or no?
What? How much attack does Elio have at this point? How much hit does Elio have at this point?
Actually, yes, we do. He might miss.
That's why I was wondering, like, how much hit does he have?
103, 2...
It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's swinging at 60s. He is, like, our equivalent of an axe user.
He feels that way.
Yeah.
Boo. What is boo?
Thanks, I'll be here all night. I'm sure it was at my joke.
Yeah.
Just stream delay.
Okay, so we're good, because he can only get hit by 2. This guy's got 3 move, so he can't... They could, but I don't think they're smart enough.
Insulting their intelligence, are you?
A little bit. Well, it's like this guy could at the back line could totally wreck Loga. I just don't think he's going to.
Yeah.
Because of whatever logic tells him he needs to go for Sonic for whatever reason.
He has to prove he's not too slow.
That was surprising.
Yeah.
Rhett continues to be the GOAT.
He's definitely just tearing a hole into the enemy forces.
Oh yeah, Elio's fine.
Okay. It's mainly just on high evasion enemies that he has issues. It's because he's not hitting.
Yeah, what do those casters have?
They have Fierce Strike, whatever that is, and Spiritual Healing. What does this guide say they have? Does it say...
Yeah, I don't know what Fierce Strike
really
is.
Say. It's also called Fierce Strike here. I have no idea. The fact that the same thing gets, like, translated to different things in different places makes it kind of hard to keep track.
Yes, it does. Can he get that? Yes, he can. Sweet. Alright, you gotta go. There we go.
Very nice.
Just hit the delete button.
Yeah. point Barado at whatever needs to be deleted.
We're gonna have to heal up before we fight the boss. I think that's pretty clear.
For sure. At least he's not moving, so, you know, we've got time to heal up.
Yeah, we do. And his casters maybe don't have, like, unlimited range.
Yeah, you know, that's always a plus when the enemy casters don't have unlimited range.
Yeah, we can get rid of that guy. Oh, come on. Getting a lot of misses right now.
I mean, maybe our hit rates are just not that good. Stuff does have some evasion here. It's not a ton, but I guess it's enough to mess with us.
Seems to be. Alright, we're gonna move the casters up too.
Alright.
Start getting in position for this boss.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not too scared of it.
No, I don't think he should be too bad. I am curious. I don't know our actual defense numbers well enough to know how they stand up to 560, but surely we've got some options.
Surely.
It is a lot of damage, though. Or a lot of attack power, at least.
It's funny, too. I think this is going to end up being a pretty quick level.
Yeah, this one's been pretty easy. No real, like, roadblocks.
No, which is also a big departure from the other game I'm playing right now, Onderon Saga, that we're getting into really long.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of that the other night. Oh yeah, I was in chat. You knew I was there.
Yeah.
I watched a little of that last night. Not last night. Whichever night you were playing it. It was interesting.
I'm really enjoying it, but yeah, some of those chapters are quite lengthy.
Yeah. I didn't end up, like, catching the full chapter, but...
We'll keep him healing up. We'll let you heal up. You're good enough to start moving forward again. I'm gonna put Kaya in front of him, so this is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can heal up. You should get that. Yeah. Kind of surprised Kaya's just 5.
Yeah. I mean, I guess his stats just really carry him. Which is good.
I wonder if this is the chapter we get our route exclusive character.
I hope so. That would be real nice.
You would. I'm definitely, like, feeling the absence of the Saints. Like, not just in the sort of party makeup, but also just in number.
Yeah, for sure. We just have less units to deal with the same problems.
Yes, and it feels that way.
Yeah.
Alright, she probably won't do 260. No. Perfect, because I want him to do it. Because he is falling behind. That one extra attack is really going to help. How much is his max health? 800? Now we've got him with the armor that we need.
Yeah.
Alright, well,
I don't know why he feels so frail.
We'll heal up across the board and move our ranged party in to start taking shots at the mages.
Sounds like a plan.
For the genre, what do you think the optimal, like, how long should a level be?
I think it really depends. I think the length of a level, map, chapter, whatever you want to call it, is less relevant than how much of it you're spending doing something. Because, like, long battles are fine if you're making decisions and doing gameplay. Because, like, you want to look at a bad map, the fight to the Demon Castle in Shining Force 1. And the main issue isn't the length of it. It's the fact that you're just trudging through this forest doing nothing. Like, you're not making tactical decisions. And there are a number of maps in Engage whenever you play it. There's specific ones I'm thinking of that I obviously can't reference because you don't know them. But where it's like, they're seriously long. There are maps in that game that took me 2 hours.
Really?
But they didn't feel like a slog because I was having to think so hard and make, like, careful decisions.
Oh.
It was like, it was long
Hello.
because he does come down. Where it was long because the map was big and there was a lot of challenge going on. So it didn't feel bad because I was spending the whole time making choices. So even though it was long and it took me a long time to beat, I had a positive overall impression of it.
He doesn't have enough health to deal with us.
No, not at all.
Like, I'm not even that afraid of him.
As long as he doesn't snipe somebody, but even then, I mean, we've got the money at this point, I think. We're not even that worried about somebody getting sniped for a little bit.
No. But right up here, this might end it. Nope.
Not quite.
But yeah, I'm not afraid.
No.
Do you have an AoE? You do.
No, go fish.
Yeah, that surprises me. I really didn't know there were any maps that were that long and engaged. 2 hours is a long time.
And granted, like, it
3
might
levels.
take less time if you play less cautiously than I do.
Wait,
But don't tell me that's a game over. Oh my goodness, it's a game over. We
What?
actually have to not kill him.
I made a state.
That's
It's a
good.
little bit back, but yeah, I just was like, wait a second. I don't hear that theme played much.
Yeah, and that Fireroy's, that's why I didn't end up seeing through the whole map that they were playing when I was watching, because it's like, it just didn't feel like progress was being made, and I wanted to see more of the game. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing that Clock was telling me was that the map that you're talking about, the Tomb of Horrors, I assume that's the one. Like, he was telling me the whole time that on, like, I mean, I guess it makes sense. On hard, it's harder. Like, there's a bunch more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I don't know about that one in a balanced sense.
Yeah.
That
And I
one,
think-
that one actually felt like maybe there was a little bit too much to do, too many objectives scattered throughout a map where you don't want to split the party that hard.
Yeah, that could definitely be the case. And I think you can have a long and challenging map with interesting decisions that isn't hard in the same way. And I feel like balancing that is a very difficult balancing act, so it's not like an easy thing for people to do,
Oh yeah.
but it is possible.
One of the ones that comes to mind for me is, I also don't know that it's balanced that well, but, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, there's a chapter in a swamp that's a little bit infamous because it's not an easy chapter, and then when you beat it, it goes, good job, and it loads up, like, it's like chapter 16, I think, and then it goes chapter 16.2, and you don't save, and you just keep going.
Oh,
And
that's a
then-
bit brutal.
When you do that, it's another decently difficult chapter, and then when you beat that, it goes, good job, 16.3. And it keeps going, and you still don't
Wow.
save.
That's a little bit absurd.
So that has killed many people's playthrough of that game.
Uh-huh.
Alright, let's start healing a little bit here. Oh, last time I used Barado to kill him. Oh, whatever. I'll do it in a minute. But yeah, several of the Onderon maps have gone on a little bit long, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Still really like the story, which is the main thing. Like, because for me, the genre is all about getting invested in characters and the dopamine hit of watching number go up. Which this also has not done that well.
No, not really.
Because the numbers, like, it's fun sometimes when you get, like, 7 or 10 on a stat. But, like, so much of this is, you know, weapon and gear loadouts.
Yeah, it makes for a really weird style.
Captain says,
'Cause it really...
I love the game, but Tactics Ogre is another great SRPG with many exhausting maps. Have not done that one yet. I will at some point, but... What makes you say that? What makes them exhausting? What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, that is the weird thing about this game, is because it never feels like your character's leveling up really matters as much. It's like, if they have a really crazy stat, like Barato getting attack, but it's like, over the entire course of the game, so you've got 20 levels, right? Mm-hmm. In the entire game, your average stat, let's say you get like a 4 on average, and you're not starting with a crazy stat, that's plus 80 over the course of the entire game. Mm-hmm. When your weapons are like, here's your new weapon, it's plus 40. Yeah. Or here's your new armor, it's, you know, plus 200 health. Like, it just feels kind of silly, where your character's actual level ups are, they feel very meaningless individually. Mm-hmm. They do add up over time, but even then, barely. The difference in your stats are less than the difference between, like, 2 pieces of gear that are, like, 2 tiers apart. Which is just a very odd design.
I would agree. I'm wondering if it's that way for their whole series.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much they stuck to, you know, how much they had a sense of, no, we need to stick to what this is, versus, well, Fire Emblem and Shining Force are doing this. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe we should do that too.
I'll be curious to look at the difference in where the release windows for the later games are.
Like what was coming out at the same time?
Yeah, like compared to those other franchises you mentioned, like where was it falling in relation to those, kinda? Yeah,
something I'll say about this is that, like, as much like as we've kind of had a good laugh about the graphics, I think the graphics are far better than Fire Emblem 1.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Like, especially if I was a kid, I would much rather look at this.
Well, I mean, to a degree, they have a lot more freedom with it than Fire Emblem 1.
Why? Because the DOS was better.
Because the system. I mean, what, Fire Emblem 1 was on the Famicom?
Yeah.
Like, your color array and stuff is so limited on what you can do per sprite. Mm-hmm. And not to mention the screen resolution. So, like, there was only so much they could have done to make Fire Emblem 1 look good, in my opinion.
It's even, I like this perspective more.
That's fair.
Like, I think Fire Emblem, honestly, I think it, I was gonna say it graphically peaked for me in, like, the GBA era, but I don't know. Because, like, Shadows of Valentia also looked really pretty. And I loved the fight animations. Like, they felt a lot more dynamic than even something like Three Houses.
I was talking to Ellie for like 5 hours about Fire Emblem the other night. And one of the things that I found, I realize a lot in like what makes a Fire Emblem game look good or bad to me, is just internal consistency. The more I look at Three Houses, it is a really ugly game. Like, I don't like almost at all how it looks.
I like some things. I like some of the character designs.
But the character designs are not the actual like visual styling of the game. No. When you look at the backgrounds, it's weird because they have this pseudo photorealistic but also low poly environment around these heavily stylized outlined anime characters. And it's like 2 entirely different styles. It feels like somebody's edited these characters into a game they don't belong in. It's like when somebody takes like cell shaded models and shoves them into like GTA or something, where it's like, this is not where these characters belong.
I know what you mean. was going somewhere with that. Echoes of Valentia.
It was really interesting to me because
the naming of that, like, I don't know. If they do more Fire Emblem Echoes, it's gonna make sense. That's why I always call it Shadows of Valentia, so that in the future, like, people always know what I'm talking about. Because I do think that they're gonna do more in that line.
It'd be interesting.
But if they don't,
curious to see it.
It's gonna be a really goofy naming convention.
But it's interesting to me because I'm like, I really hate how Three Houses looks. But it's like, it's between the very detailed realism-ish style of, like, the GameCube games and the heavily stylized anime outline whatever style of Engage. And both of those games, I think, look good. And it's just because they committed to their style. Where it's like, even if you don't like either of those styles, I think they're both very good-looking games for what they are. And then you've just got Three Houses in the middle, which has, like, 1 foot on both sides of the style spectrum and doesn't know what it wants to be.
I remembered what I wanted to say, and that was the engine. I feel very mixed on. Because it's Koei is help develop Three Houses, and they put it on their Warriors engine.
Okay.
Which I really like the Warriors games, so I really like that choice in that, like, it makes it really easy to get Warriors games out of games because it's already in the proper engine for it. So I think that's why we got one of them for Three Houses. We got Three Hopes.
I mean, definitely if it's easy, you're more likely to get one.
Yeah. So I'm thinking the victory condition is we have to kill everything else.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's that we have to subdue everybody else and not kill him. I was just surprised that they actually had, like, a failure condition.
Yeah, same.
We haven't really had fights like that.
No, we have not. But I don't know that the Warriors engine is the best for Fire Emblem. And I don't know if Engage is on that same engine. And that could potentially convince me otherwise if Engage seems to work a lot better.
I'm really not sure what engine it's on.
But I don't know. It's just not an engine that I love. For specifically, like, the Fire Emblem side of things.
I think it's different. I don't know. I also just think they handle the maps and the environments a lot better.
Well, as far as I know, and I don't mind a spoiler on this, there's no route split.
Correct, there's no route split.
I think that inherently is going to make it easier for them to handle it better.
Theoretically. One of the things that, like, surprised me about the Engage engine that I just didn't expect was during a combat animation, an enemy got knocked back into a fence and the fence actually, like, broke. And I was like, you're telling me they put this in a Fire Emblem game? Like, little detail touches? Any at all? I was impressed.
That's kind of what Echoes felt like to me.
Where it's just, I don't know, I'm used to not having that. And it caught me off guard and actually impressed me, which is silly that impressed me, but it's also Fire Emblem we're talking about.
Yeah. We're gonna move up.
Not to rag on Fire Emblem, but...
Alright. I really hope he doesn't, slash FF into... Okay, that's fine. I was hoping he didn't just kamikaze into somebody.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
It's got a little more sense than that. I don't know if that made sense as a play.
You know, it's whatever.
I didn't finish Firewood's comment. My bad. I just realized that. Echoes definitely had my favorite class design. The Barons looked beefy as all heck, and the Mercenaries felt like quick hard hitters. It was pretty dang good design. Yeah, I really liked it as well. That is, outside of the Tellius games, that's my favorite Fire Emblem. I think it was really, really well done. And I'm not surprised with the director of the game. I read some of his interviews and stuff, and he talked about that him and his dad grew up. He grew up with him and his dad playing Fire Emblem together. Specifically, that one.
And that'll do it.
And so he, like, really wanted to... Like, one of his life goals was to remake that game and do it justice. There we go. There's the right theme.
One of these days, I'll actually get around to playing Shadows of Valencia.
Oh,
where's my
script time?
What do you want to do? My head hurts.
Uncle Sonic, what's the situation? Okay, the next step is up to him. Can the original memory be restored?
Who are you? I'm Ray, the great prince of the kingdom of Latia. Did you save me?
Are you really my elder brother?
Hey, are you my second brother, Rhett? Are you still alive?
I am, Rhett, that's right. Brother, what happened?
Ever since Hutch's rebellion, I was taken away by Dis and given to a couple. I was raised under Dis's supervision and later became Hutch's subordinate. Although I didn't know my true life history during this period, I was always suspicious of other people's attitudes toward me, wondering if there were any hidden secrets.
Then how did you know who you were later?
It wasn't until the day I turned 18 that I overheard a secret conversation between Hutch and Dis, and learned about my true life. Hutch was my father-killing enemy. Hutch was my enemy, the murderer of my father. In my grief and rage, I took the sword and rushed towards Hutch, but was knocked unconscious by Dis with magic, and then he vanished.
Ah, so that's it. Then Dis used this opportunity to instill false memories in you, to use you to complete his purpose.
I think you're progressing too far.
Am I?
Maybe?
May I ask who you are?
Old Man Sonic. Most people call me the Saint. And I was your father's friend during his lifetime. Now, in order to help Rhett recover his country, I'm traveling with him. Okay, mine looks wrong.
Yeah, something about that's weird.
It turns out to be Uncle Sonic. How disrespectful, Rhett, now that we know of the enemy who killed our fathers in the palace. If we don't take the opportunity to avenge our father, how can we be worthy of our father's spirit in heaven?
Exactly. Everyone, let's set out for the palace.
I'm not sure if we got desynced somewhere or what was up with that.
Oh, I just saved
desynced from the...
I saved
over
the
the
wrong
wrong
thing
one.
just then. Dang.
Oops.
Oh well.
Well, at least we finished our other playthrough, so...
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what happened there. Alright, I don't know that we can buy better stuff, but
There's dragon guns for our lancers. And killing swords for our sword people.
Okay, then yeah, we can.
And there is
2,800.
There is a new spell, explosive something.
Thunder.
It's translated here as explosive price. So.
Okay, so we already have the dragon spears.
Okay. Weird. The last chapter didn't sell them. Maybe the one before did. Oh yeah. How weird. They become unavailable for a chapter and then available again.
Alright, we'll buy the killing swords for everybody that we can.
I wonder what they'll do with those killing swords.
Hopefully get lots of crits. Also,
if it actually worked like a killer weapon.
I noticed, like, a small thing that, like, the whole plan was that when Ray turned 18, they were going to kill him to destabilize the seal. And now he's, like, on my 18th birthday. I overheard them talking about who I was, and it's like, okay, did they not decide not to kill you?
Yeah, it's like, why did they not kill him? That was, like, the whole plan, was he turns 18 and then we kill him. And then they decided to not do that, I guess?
Yeah, I'm wondering what's up with that.
Well, because he needs to survive for the plot to happen, I guess.
I don't know. I'm wondering if the logic in this route's gonna be different.
I don't know.
Yeah, everybody's good. Yeah, let's buy that new spell, though. And hopefully a couple other spells. So we want 4,800, because this is like Bolt 2 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get that for both. Okay. That went through. And then I would like to get Aura for Lena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he has 2. Let's give Sonic's Aura to Lena. One of them.
Okay.
Oh, that
sounds good.
So which one is Lena? That one.
I assume so.
Either that or it's red. Oh, we can't yet. Or maybe it went through. Yeah, it went through. Okay, she just doesn't do the nod when you're giving, only purchasing. Okay. Then we're gonna buy Explosive Thunder for Sonic.
Okay.
And then we have Regeneration. I don't know if we've had access to that before either. I think that's a bigger heal.
Is it not just Aura? Is that spiritual healing as Aura?
I think it's Aura 2 or something.
Interesting.
So let's sell Sonic's Aura.
Oh, we should also have a new character.
Which is this.
Which is Ray.
Oh! Alright, we'll check that out.
I believe he did actually join us at the end of the last thing. Story beat, whatever.
There we go. And I should have a character card for him, maybe?
Oh man, it's been a hot minute since we've had to have a character card.
Yeah, it has. Oh, so no wonder it was good. There's actual passion and love put into it. I know, shocking! We don't see that these days.
Are you telling me that's the secret all along? We could have just been putting passion into our games, and they would have been good?
Yeah, it definitely helps. Okay. Now you're gonna need me to remember where this folder is, because I haven't needed it in so long.
Yeah.
Oop. I don't remember.
I can't help you with that one, Chief.
Yeah, I know. Give me just a second and I'll have it up. I put it in some folder inside another folder. That's my problem. Is it in here?
Behind door number 1.
No, it's not. Is it in here? No, it's not. Oh, here it is. It's in the folder labeled character cards for Flame Dragon Knights.
Oh, there we go. That is a good place to look for such a thing.
Okay. Is this He Wu Shang, the Black Warrior?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Maybe?
Is this the right one?
I'll have to wait until I can see it. Oh, Wu Sheng is a recommended career on his one page.
That might be the right one.
No, that's the Black Martial Saint.
Darn it.
The very last one on the list is him, Ray Dulia.
Okay.
Because he's the last character list on the page.
Yeah, the names are a little bit different. Okay, yeah, here we go. Should be this one. There's his art. There's his growths. So he is skewed towards whatever that bottom left thing is. It's hard for me to see on the preview.
Bottom left is dexterity. So hit rate / evasion.
Yeah, that's not great, is it? I like his art a lot, though.
Although, I'm not even sure if that skew is really true, because if I look at the growth values, he has 0 to 11 on all 3 stats. So, I don't know if he's actually that skewed or if he just starts with a good amount of hit.
I mean, he's got 550 attack. How does that compare to, like...
It's, like, more than most of our army.
Yeah, he's very close to Barato.
So I don't think he's really that skewed towards dexterity.
I have no idea. It could just be that his growths are skewed that way. But, like, what does that even mean?
I mean, they aren't, because like I said, his like, stat up thing says 0 to 11 for AP, DP, and DX.
Okay,
so his actual growths don't seem to be skewed in any direction.
I wonder what those cards are pulled from. Like, it seems to be some sort of data book.
I don't know. It is really interesting. And then it has descriptions pulled for a number of books as well.
Which is fascinating to me that those exist, but I think we're ready to move on to the next chapter.
Sounds good.
Let me pull up my guide here.
Yeah, I don't think I've got my... Oh, do I have the script up? I do. This one's short.
Oh, is it?
The script, yeah. The battle won't be, but the script is.
Oh, yeah, that's very short. Alright, Lego! Chapter 15, Attacking the Palace.
Red, you seem to be quite capable for coming all the way here, but it's still too early for you to pass my level.
Huh, how can defeat a general be brave? Wasn't the lesson learned last time enough?
Lacasse, you have to repay the blood debt caused by the annihilation of the elves more than 10 years ago. I love that we're talking about a genocide in one sentence, and I bet we're not going to get any more on that.
Nope.
You beast. I think my father treated you well. And you. You actually repaid kindness with vengeance and framed my father. This time I will definitely take your life.
Hey, come and get it if you have the ability. It was just a momentary lapse of judgment last time, but it won't be so easy this time. Now, Hutch, His Majesty has entrusted the most elite cavalry guard regiment to my command, just to defeat you all. Your Highness, be careful of the Ari's halberd he is holding. It is a legendary ancient weapon with the power to destroy everything. You, an old man, know a lot. However, today, you will all die here. Cavalry guard, enter!
Does it really say that last thing?
That's what it says.
Okay, I'd stop
I mean,
reading.
it's guards, cavalry, enter, but yeah, I think cavalry guard makes more sense.
The cavalry that don't have forces.
Yes, well.
I mean, there are a lot of them.
There are a lot of them.
I remember this map.
Yep.
It's different a little. I don't think it was Black Cavalry last time.
Let me take a wild look here.
What is your... Okay, your range is 3 as well.
No, it was Black Cavalry last time.
Okay.
Well,
Your
18, 12,
defense
12, 15.
is 210. Okay, you're not that far off from red.
It's the exact same map as last time.
It did look that way.
Yeah.
No coconuts in China either. What?
I don't know, you've lost me on that one.
What are you talking about? Let's see. I assume he probably should not go at the front. In hindsight, not that far forward anyway, because I'm assuming they've all got 7 move.
Probably, given what they are.
You've got 3 move. You've got 6 move. Okay, not quite, but close. So I remember this one was a little bit of a pain last time.
Yeah.
And we're gonna handle it much the same way. Because it's just a large stack in this corridor.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty annoying.
Well, we know, we're older and wiser now. So we're gonna have our, do you have any spells? No, you don't. We're gonna stack our spellcasters in such a way that we're gonna just annihilate them with AoE.
Mm-hmm.
That's my plan. You've never played Cavalry with Coconuts? Oh, I gotcha. The Monty Python thing. Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh.
We need a Nihil movie night. That's 2 straight weeks with blank stares from references. Yeah. I've thought about it. I've thought about it. Is that something you guys would want to do? Do you want to do like Discord movie nights?
I don't know. It would depend what we're watching.
Yeah, that is true. Trying to think like what I would even do. I watch a lot of really weird movies.
Yeah.
I just watched one last night called The Blind Menace.
Okay.
For Christmas, I got a box set of samurai movies from the Criterion Collection, and I like the Criterion stuff. It's about a blind samurai, and there's 26 of these movies made over
there's 26 of them?
Yes, made over a 10-year span.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's called Zatoichi the Blind Swordsman. I've not started them yet, but I saw, looking up some stuff about them, that the idea came from another movie starring the same guy called The Blind Menace that is, these are all from the 60s, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That is essentially the same character he would go on to play in these samurai movies, but he's like a horrible, despicable villain. In this first one. So I decided to start with that, and I watched it last night.
How was it?
Good. I mean, especially given the time period, he's really creepy. And reading the blurb about it, I watched it on Internet Archive. Reading the blurb about it was really funny, because they said, like, the star was really struggling at the time, because he was making kind of the same movies that... He was trying to make the same kind of movies that everybody else was making, but he wasn't handsome enough to be the leading man. So he was really struggling, because audiences just weren't receptive to it. And so then he reads this script about this blind guy in Japanese society that manipulates everybody around him using his blindness. He's very, very clever. And he ultimately becomes the, like, Kangyo, which is a, like, blind masseuse / spiritual advisor to, like, the nobility.
A masseuse / spiritual advisor is an interesting, like, combination job title.
They do things like acupuncture, and it's, like, very chakras heavy, things like that, so it kind of makes a little bit more sense than
that makes a little more sense. Just say it's like masseuse is like, let me rub your back and give you spiritual advice.
I mean, that is what they call him throughout the movie, so, like, it is still apt. Or masseur, I think is the word they use. Okay. But yeah, it's pretty creepy. Hey, Crimson Phil. We were just talking about doing maybe a Nihil movie night on Discord or something. Tismore says, not if it's some low-budget horror movie. I do watch a lot of those.
Really horror movies are not really my vibe either, so that would also be...
The low-budget ones I watch are not very scary. It's more about just trying to tell a good story on a low budget, and you can tell everybody's having fun.
Yeah.
That's why I really like them. Let's see, we'll get him up here to take hits and block. I maybe should have done that a little differently. But... yeah, we'll do that. Let's see what his... oh my gosh, he looks cool.
His hair could use some work, but otherwise he looks great.
Yeah, but we say that about all of them.
Yeah. I definitely don't jive with their hair shading.
No, it's not the best. Okay, I'm gonna move her off to the side here, I think is the smart play. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna position Milan and Sonic. I'm gonna put you here. I think Sonic needs to go... what is the Bolt 2 range? Pretty good. He just needs to go.
He just needs to go.
I think he can go here and take some hits. Because he's dodgy. And then we can put Milan here. And Sonic here. I think I'm happy with this. I also should put you up. Actually, you know what, let's do that. Because you have better defense. And we'll get Barato kind of on the fringe there. Alright. Let's see. But yeah, that's the kind of movies that... I don't know. I like to watch stuff that a lot of people haven't seen. Well, that would have been unfortunate. I actually did get some of those B-horror movies for Christmas as well. I'm excited to dig into those. One of them takes place in a nursing home or assisted living as well, so I'm really excited to see, like, you know, my field of work represented.
That'll be interesting.
How they do that.
See, like, all of the inaccuracies.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. It's called Dr. Death.
Aha.
I actually ended up getting 2 copies of it because I had it on my wish list, and my parents got it for me, and then my brother did as well. So,
oh, oops.
I don't know what I'm doing with the second copy yet. Maybe we do a giveaway
Raffle it off.
of this movie that most of y'all probably don't want.
Probably not.
It's also part of a series that I really like, and it's like maybe like 15 in that series.
Oh.
Timeline-wise, I don't know where it falls. It may fall earlier than that. In fact, it probably does. That's one that the timeline, they have not... They, like, got to a certain point and then just stopped moving forward in the timeline, and I've been a little bit miffed about that.
Oh, weird.
This is so much nicer running in higher cycles.
Right?
Otherwise, I'd just be sitting back like, alright, we're gonna be electrocuting people till tomorrow.
I mean, the game as a whole is just a lot more tolerable running at a more proper speed.
Oh yeah, Nick is the MVP for that. Because, yeah, like,
absolutely.
It definitely changes my, like, whole opinion of the game.
Yeah.
I wonder how feasible that was back in the day.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Oh, you do so much damage. I love it. Okay, so this should be the bolt. Yeah, I probably want to do that. I could do that, but, like, do I want to do that? I should do what I usually do and move him last. Alright, you took a beating, so you move back. I don't know if I want to just hold the line with Kaya. He's got 74. She can probably get that.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite movie series? I'm curious.
Movie series?
Yeah, is there any that you just keep up with? That...
I mean, the thing is just, I don't watch a lot of movies.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
rare for me to feel like I
something.
want to sit down and spend a lot of time just watching something. So and also, like, a lot of the stuff that I have watched is not even, like, part of a series.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really hard for me to say, is there any movie series, like, what movie series have I even watched all of? I saw all of the Narnia movies. I saw the 2 Percy Jackson movies.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're
wondering.
remaking that, aren't they?
Haven't watched the Netflix series yet. They're doing a Netflix series. What they're
Okay.
doing. I haven't watched it yet, so I can't have any judgment of it.
I've heard not good things already, but I am not a big Percy Jackson person.
Yeah, I was way back in the day.
I read the first book. We did that in school because we did like a whole mythology segment. That was fun.
I kind of fell out of it when he did the sequel series because it wasn't what I wanted out of the series.
No. Why do you say that?
So.
And what was the sequel series called?
The sequel series was Heroes of Olympus.
Okay.
So part of it was like, so the first book of Heroes of Olympus, right, introduces an entirely new cast of characters.
Risky.
Introduces this whole new trio, which isn't like foreign to him because he had already done other series with whole new sets of protagonists, just with different premises.
Okay. Not connected.
Because he did kind of. Because he did like an Egyptian myth series and like a Norse myth series, but Percy would like show up and cameo in them, so they're like kind of
Really?
related. Yeah, it's weird.
That feels forced from you saying that, but like
Yeah, and it'll get worse. It's part of why I don't like the sequel series.
it feels like one of those things. It's like if Percy puts in an appearance, then you gotta buy it.
But it's like, so the sequel series, I enjoyed the new cast. I enjoyed them enough I remember them by name. There was Jason, Leo, and Piper.
Okay.
And I liked all of them. And the first book was great. And then I think it was in the second book where they're like, randomly, Jason and Percy switched places. Somehow, mysteriously. And now Percy is with the new group of characters, and Jason is with the old group of characters, because he was the protagonist of the first book.
Okay.
So first of all, it's like, alright, now we're shoving in Percy, and he's a main part of this plotline when I really liked the new cast. And I was like, I just want to see this group's story. And it very quickly just became very about his relationship drama with Annabeth, and bring back all the characters from the original series. And, like...
That's not what you wanted?
No! I'm like, I read the first series, and, I like the light comedy, action, adventure, stuff. It's like, I wasn't reading this for teen drama, melodramatic romance stuff.
You weren't.
No. And I get that some people were, like, probably the female fan base cared a whole lot about Percy and Annabeth's relationship, but that was not a big thrust of the main original series, and I was fine not having that. And it felt like the new cast and the new plot they had got so sidelined by the relationship melodrama, I couldn't
hang.
I couldn't hang. I read, I think, the first 3 books, and then I dropped out of it. Talking about the new book. Is there a new book? I'm just talking about the sequel series, which has been out and I think finished for a while. I obviously stopped keeping up with it, so I have no idea.
Fire Roy says, movies are not something I can do. I think the last movie I watched was the last Lord of the Rings. I'm assuming you mean actual Lord of the Rings and not Hobbit. My ADHD does not let me just sit there for extended periods of time. See, like, I get that, but I also, wish movies were a lot longer. I've talked about that some already. I think movies
I feel like
are
it
far too
depends.
short. Most of them.
I've watched movies where I felt like they were not long enough, and I felt movies that I feel like should have been half the length they were.
Yeah.
I think it depends on how much story you have to tell.
Most of the movies I watch, I feel like are not quite long enough. In, for modern Hollywood. Because I watched the DC stuff for a while, and I've definitely fallen out of that.
Actually, a movie series, speaking of modern, I just wrote a movie series I
finish that
actually...
thought,
Okay.
And then we'll get to that. DC just had no clue how to edit their films. So it was like, if you just make it longer and don't, then they're much better overall.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, what series you think of?
Knives Out.
Ah.
And, I know that the director didn't even want to call the second one, a Knives Out movie or whatever. like Glass Onion, he didn't even want the title attached to it, but there's supposed to be a third one, and I'm waiting for that.
We talked about that before. I'm never gonna watch it because I can't stand the director.
Oh, really?
He massacred Star Wars, so I'm like, There's nothing he could do that I would want to see. It Chapter 2 is the only movie I've seen.
He personally massacred Star Wars?
His movie, I think, took it beyond the point of no repair.
Okay, because it was like, I thought they had different directors for all three of the sequel movies.
They did. That was also a mistake to do that and not have them talk to each other, but I've talked about that ad nauseum.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Knives Out movies are super good.
It's crazy to me that you would try to tell a trilogy story. It's like writing a book, like a book trilogy, and not having the authors talk to each other.
Yeah, it's kind of... I can't
like
imagine
part of it
why
is
they
that
did
that
it
was
that
always
way.
doomed to fail. That was just not a good idea.
They never... yeah. The sequel series never had a chance when it just got handed off like that.
It Chapter 2 is a 3-hour movie that should be 90 minutes. I did see that one. One of my friends really wanted to go see it, and I went with him. Oh, I don't think 7 was good either. 7... okay, I'll jump on my soapbox for, like, just a minute, because I don't want to, like, derail too hard into that. 7 is terrible because Leia and Han are completely regressed in their characters. JJ just didn't pick up where we left off, like, because we left off with, like, Leia being a politician and Han, like, learning to be more selfless and that there's bigger things than himself, and he just gives all that up immediately. Like, it was like 6 ended and he was like, never mind. And
never mind, I am the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, he just completely goes back to how he used to be. So I really didn't like that. And then, like, there's a lot of things that are set up, which I get that's what J.J. Abrams does. But I don't know that he had answers for any of it, and that's also not a good idea. Like, if you're gonna mystery box everything, you need to know where it's going.
Well, then the people who followed him didn't have answers either.
Yeah. Nobody
had answers.
Speaking of Star Wars, the remaster of Dark Forces is looking crisp. I refuse to give them money anymore.
That's
so
fair.
I'm just like, nah. I don't give them any money. They've made it very clear they don't want my money. And it took me a while to, like, get over that, but it was like, alright, message received. Also, like, it's probably not, like, a conversation we can have, because nobody's gonna oppose it publicly, but I'm like, I also just, like, will know... Because some people would be like, well, you don't have to pay them for it. And I'm like, yeah, but, like... I don't know. I really don't pirate... Like, genuinely, I don't pirate modern games.
No, I don't either. I mean, anything modern that I've emulated, I already own.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Because it's like, for like my Fire Emblem Awakening, like, randomizer run, I can't do that on console, but I own the game, and I've played like 300 hours of the thing.
Oh, yeah.
On my actual 3DS.
I mean, that one also, like, we're running into issues with that already as well, that, like, I was gonna say, I try not to emulate anything that is on a storefront currently.
Mm-hmm.
But we're now running into problems with, what's it called? The DLC is not gonna be available anymore.
It's already not available for a number of games.
Yeah, but that's also your reminder, if you guys want to own that. They're shutting down the eShops relatively soon. I think it's March.
Which eShops are even still up?
3DS and Wii U.
Oh, I thought the 3DS one was already done.
Maybe it is. They're shutting off something, because I know there's like the Corrin Quest plays that people do for Fates. And I know Mangs is currently doing one final one, because they're shutting down the servers and the ability to visit other people's, like, towns.
Then maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe it is still up.
So I assumed that the eShop was still up. If I can afford to pay your membership fees, I need to pay for my games. Yeah. It's also just that, like... I don't know. It's just a thing that I feel that I'm like... if I like a game, I do want to pay you for it.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's gotta die this turn. Okay, there we go. 11 attack. A bunch of people need to heal now because of that. He almost died. And then we gotta start dealing with this nonsense. I don't actually like even know where you download modern games. Like I know there's places like vaguely, but I don't know, you know. I think about like Gabe Newell and stuff talking about like better services, providing better services, and I'm pretty happy with Steam, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I very much agree with this point that like the way you beat piracy is to provide better service than you get pirating a game.
Yeah.
And like Steam is a pretty darn good platform.
It is, with how often sales happen. Like, I'm usually not paying full price for games already, and then it's all in one convenient spot, and I'm not worried about things I download typically, especially after their refund changes. Like, you know, I can get a refund for any reason if, like, the dev forgot to include the executable file.
If the released version just has the demo.
I didn't refund that. I knew, like, I waited and was like, you know, he'll probably fix it. And he's made a lot of updates. I think the most recent one was like today.
Oh wow, he's really gotten back into it then.
Yeah, somebody's playing it, and like it seems like a lot of fixes were needed. But yeah, somebody's playing through it right now and doing a lot of comments on I don't know, things he missed or something. Like, I get when you're an indie and you're by yourself, it's really hard to like, you know, focus test or like beta test things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, he's getting a lot of feedback right now.
Interesting. Well, hopefully it helps improve the game.
But also, like, that was like his third game. So I'm like, I do trust that, like, you're...
It also looked like it was made in, like, a month, looking at its release times, so...
Sure, but, like, the fact that it's your third game does tell me you're taking it seriously. And, like, I feel like he takes some pride in what he does.
Yeah.
So I was never that concerned that, like, what if he doesn't ever fix it? It's like, no. I'm sure he's good for it. Am I too trusting? Maybe.
Maybe.
It is
Or
possible.
maybe you've played enough games that are so bad that just having something that even, like, functions as a halfway enjoyable experience is a step up.
I don't know. I think you guys would probably disagree, because I'm like, I don't think I've played games that are that bad. You guys definitely might disagree with that sentiment, but like...
I mean, looking at some of the games you played, there are definitely a number where I'm like, I would never touch this. Or like, I would play one battle of this, and that's all it would get out of me.
You want to name names?
Pretty much 75% of the SRPG studio games you've played.
I've only played 2 on the channel.
Well, you can round up. But like, I've seen video of other SRPG studio games. It just, I don't know. I have not seen anything come out of it where I'm really like, yes, this is a quality game that I would finish playing.
Captain says, this is why my mods are one map. Too short for people to hate it.
Oh, people will hate my challenge map, and it's only one map.
Okay, in terms of, like, SRPG studio, Legend of Cena is the roughest one I've played, because it's all default assets, but, like, I do think Walk with the Living was higher quality. Like, I don't believe he used any default assets. And that was clearly, like, a labor of love. So I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, it could be. I just know, like, I mean, we were looking at the, like, Kaga's SRPG studio game, and I was like, this does not look like a game I want to play.
See, I can look past the graphics and stuff. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, Shozo Kaga, the guy that created Fire Emblem, now makes SRPG studio games on Steam.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me. Like,
really,
I don't know. Like, I've not kept up with like what, where life has taken him really.
God,
these guys heal so much. This kind of feels like the same kind of casters. Like, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah. What game is this, bro?
This is Flame Dragon Knights. I'm having like a brain fart. It is a Chinese-only SRPG for the DOS. I'm shocked you've not heard of it. I'm playing it because I'm super into Shining Force, and this is from around that same time period, and I was like, I wonder what other people were doing. And that was like the cast sound from Shining Force, so it definitely took some of the assets.
Yeah.
So I was like, how is it? So far, pleasantly surprised. It's actually pretty good.
Mostly. The end of the first storyline route was a bit rough.
Yes, it was. It has Shining Force vibes. I kind of agree. In some ways. In some ways, not as much. But yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised that Shozo Kaga is still doing SRPG studio games because I don't know. I guess I'm surprised that nobody wanted him to do other things.
I don't know. I mean, I guess... So I have not played any of the Kaga Fire Emblem games, obviously. But the impression I get from people who have played them and talk about them is that there's very, like, strict, recognizable design patterns.
Yes.
And to an extent, that kind of means if you don't want to make the exact same kind of game he's always made, you don't want him. Because that's what he makes. Like, those are the stories he tells, that's the gameplay he makes, and that's fine.
I've heard also that, like, I've tried to avoid spoilers, because I do want to play them at some point, but I have heard that stuff like Tyadran Saga does stray some. Like, there's still some of those things, like it's permadeath, it's certain kinds of stories, but I've heard that, like, gameplay-wise, he, like, really got experimental with some of the mechanics, and so I'm really excited to see how that is.
But there is also the
a new game came out and it's inspired by Shining Force. Sorry, I don't remember its name. I mean, I don't know. It could be a lot of things. War of Valana, like that's a guess.
I mean, War of Valana is not really out, but
no, but I'm wondering
it does
if
exist.
That's what he's thinking.
The other thing could always be, nowadays, when you're making a game, I feel like you have to give up more creative control than you did back in the day. And where you're more corporately controlled in what you can make, and where if he's making his own stuff, he doesn't have to care.
Unless you're Kojima.
Well, unless you're Kojima. In that case, Konami fires you.
I'm talking about now he has Kojima Studios and stuff, though.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like he can kind of do what he wants.
I mean, to an extent, that's basically what Kaga's doing. He's not attaching himself to a studio. He can still do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
And that's probably part of it.
As well, though, that, like, I'm sure it is, but I'm surprised that, like, he's using some of the default assets as well. I'm like, if anybody has, like, enough fanboys to like, design some art,
that's
like,
fair.
You would think.
That's fair.
That's why so many old devs go to Kickstarter. Yeah, that's very true.
And then they make Balan Wonderworld.
I was gonna say Mighty Number 9, but Balan Wonderworld.
Really good examples of really terrible games that came out of old devs going to Kickstarter.
Who did Balan Wonderworld? Was it the Sonic guys?
It was the Sonic guy. Who was it who was,
Is that Yuji Naka?
Yep, Yuji Naka, designer.
Also, another fun thing, Songs Hangama. Your profile picture, I recognize it as the Jay Witz. I have actually had some, I think it was just one conversation with him, and he was very not nice to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's like, I generally like him, but every now and then when he, like, gets upset about something, he seems like he can be very not nice.
Yeah. That's all I'll say about it, but yeah, he was very not nice to me.
Ouch.
I've had a couple of conversations like that with people in, like, the industry, I guess. I don't know. Like, he's definitely more of an independent, but, like, I've also had, if it ever comes up, I'm not opposed to talking about it. I'm not just gonna, like, randomly put people on blast, but I've definitely talked to a couple of, people in the games industry, too, that were not the nicest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, pretty actively terrible.
Well, that sucks.
You just randomly downloaded this profile.
Where did you get it from? It's like literally the J-Wits.
That's really funny.
Just like randomly found it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm really curious too. And what made you go, yeah, this one?
This is the one.
Do you look like that? And every so often you get the opposite, where the old creator makes another gem like Bloodstained. Yes! Yes, that is also very true. Like, I shouldn't lump them all together, because, yeah, Bloodstained came out. I've never been a Castlevania guy. It's just not my kind of game.
Same.
I mean, you can look at what I'm playing right now and maybe conclude that. But, yeah, people seem very, very big on Bloodstained, so I'm excited for those people. And now it's got, like, a sequel?
If you're somebody who likes those kind of things.
I don't mean that in, like, a bad way. No, it seems to be very much in the same vein, whereas I'm a little bit confused about, like, so Mighty Number 9, I'm like, I can move and then check people's... I don't know how that happened.
Huh?
I, like, moved and checked his, like, stats.
Oh, weird.
That was weird, like, before I did anything else. I don't really know why that happened. Mighty Number 9, I can look at Mega Man and look at Mighty Number 9 and go, okay, I see how this happened. Balan Wonderworld, I'm like, you're known for making Sonic.
Well, I feel like it's probably much more inspired by the Knights series.
This profile has a Pokedex vibe. I mean...
It certainly does.
It does. I think that's intentional. Have I tried Banner Saga? No, I want to. Like, I'm trying to play just, like, tons of SRPGs. The Banner Saga is also on my radar. And, one of my compatriots, Woodhouse... played them, and it was, like, I avoided spoilers, but it was really funny reading his, like, on his Discord, just his non-spoilery thoughts.
Yeah. It
was a lot of, like, I wanted to just sit down and relax after a long day of work, and they're talking about really heavy stuff. And, like, choices I'm making lead to character deaths, like, plot-wise, and he was just like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, though. Do you recommend Banner Saga songs? Yup, it's super good. Oh, sweet. I'm glad to hear it. It seems good. But yeah, there's times that I don't understand the Kickstarter thing and, like, just where it goes wrong. I've seen some reviews too about, like, the newest, I don't remember the name of it. It was supposed to be the next Chrono Trigger. And I've seen some middling reviews on that as well. And, like, when you're billing yourself as that, like, that's a very hard legacy to live up to. And the stuff I've heard is not even that it's bad. It's just that a lot of it is that, like, this is what it was billed as, and it's not that. It's not quite good enough. But I'm like, yeah, you kind of did that to yourself. Sea of Stars, maybe? I don't know if you're familiar with this at all.
I'm sorry, was that directed at me?
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
It's like a game. It's like some indie game I don't know that it's indie actually, but it's supposed to be like the next Chrono Trigger.
Sea of Stars is, or
yeah, something like that.
I've heard good things about it. I haven't played it or looked a ton into it. It's in my it's on my I'm interested in playing this list.
I know what you mean.
I've never played Chrono Trigger, so I don't have a whole lot of attachment to. Okay, I've played 2 hours of the remake of Chrono Trigger, and that's it. But I've never been much of a. I've never been a huge turn-based RPG guy. I've played a few, but the ones that I did play, they had to really grab me. Dragon Quest IX, Golden Sun Dark Dawn. But it's as far as turn-based RPGs go, it's not something I really lean towards.
I don't know if John even finished the whole series. It weighed so heavily. Remake? What game do you mean? I assume he means the DS remake.
Yeah, the DS remake. I know it's widely considered less good than the original, but it's... I mean, I wasn't playing the original, and my friend sent me a copy of that one, so I tried it.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on that beyond, why did his defense just spike away? I was doing more to him before. They changed the soundtrack, and I think that's a tragedy.
Yeah. For me, it's just kind of
Beyond
because
that.
I have no attachment to the original, it was I mean, it was fine. It wasn't... It didn't grab me enough to keep me playing it. So it's I didn't have anything against it, but it just didn't really do it for me. It was this is neat, but I don't see what the huge appeal is.
I see.
And maybe it kicks in later, but in current year when I have other games to be playing, it's not this is what I had for my console and I better play it.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest IX was absolutely goated. I love Dragon Quest IX. The whole idea of being able, every single party member being designed by you and can be whatever class was really fun. And yes, I ran 2 thieves for the entire game. Why do you ask? There's 10 classes. I'm running 2 thieves for some inane reason.
Sea of Stars is cool so far. Haven't beat it yet though. Yeah, I've heard that it's cool, but I've just heard people frustrated that it is not Chrono. You know, maybe it's just not Chrono Trigger 2.
Just like Shining Force 3 isn't Shining Force 2 too.
Yeah. I was gonna ask though, did you like the Golden Sun when you were talking about?
Overall, I enjoyed Dark Dawn.
So you
now,
are
of
not
course,
as big into SF2, but you like Gold. You see where I'm going with this?
I don't actually. I feel like they're quite different games.
Yeah, but isn't SF2 is the golden child of a lot of the Shining fans, and that game is I'm blanking on the name even though you just said it.
Dark Dawn?
Yeah, Dark
Dawn
Dawn
is
isn't
disliked.
I was gonna say, isn't it disliked?
Yeah.
I just think that's interesting.
Well, but also, I have not played the other Golden Suns.
Oh, you haven't?
So I also can't say that, this game is better than those, because I literally don't know what they're like. I know in a general sense, but I've not played them, so I haven't, passed judgment on them.
I'm curious how you ended up playing, the third one question
mark? Because I never had the originals.
Good answer.
So, I was at the game store and I saw on the shelf a game called Golden Sun Dark Dawn, and I was like, I've seen people online say Golden Sun is a good series, and I bought it, and I played, and that's how.
I was thinking a little bit more recent, it was an intentional thing, not that you just as a kid.
This was when I was a teenager and I was in GameStop, and the other games were old enough that I was not playing them at the time.
Yep.
I didn't have a GBA until I was in middle school, which would have been 2010 2011ish. I had no way to play the originals. I was just hey, it's the same way I got into Fire Emblem. I went to the store to buy actually, no. The way I got into Kingdom Hearts in the middle of the franchise was I went to the store to buy Fire Emblem because I was people say Fire Emblem's good,
You went
and
to
I
buy
saw
Fire
Kingdom
Emblem
Hearts
what?
and was Huh?
You must buy Fire Emblem what?
Shadow Dragon.
Okay.
They came out around the same time.
Alright.
Shadow Dragon and Kingdom Hearts 358 half days. And I saw Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, people say Kingdom Hearts is good. I played Kingdom Hearts, not knowing it's in the middle of the franchise and it's a game people don't like. Like, people do not like the gameplay of 358 half days. It's my favorite in the series. People don't like Dark Dawn. People don't like Shining Force 1. It's like, all of the games that people don't like are where I started these series and are my favorites.
Okay, but like, for Kingdom Hearts, starting in the middle, does it make less sense? Like, that's one of those that it's like, even with all of the context, like, it's kind of rough from what I've heard.
My argument with Kingdom Hearts is that the story is not that confusing. The problem is the first game was not set up to lead to sequels, so then to make sequels, they had to contradict a lot of lore that the first game established. If you ignore the first game, most of it makes sense.
Okay.
It's really just if you try to... Now, there are a lot of characters, and I don't know about Kingdom Hearts 3 because I haven't played it, but everything else really does track. It's just the first game set up some expectations that aren't really followed through on because they didn't know what they were doing.
I mean, rarely do they.
Yeah, I can ramble more, but let's get through this.
Okay.
Oh, damn you guys.
Look at the arrow! Okay, this happened before. Lacoste, you're going to die.
Wow.
Fair reaction. By the way, in the script, that was Shyvana saying, Lacoste, I'm going to die. I'm assuming that's you're going to die.
There's probably no pronoun in the original Chinese.
Possibly. It could just be Lacoste going to die.
Yeah.
Thanks to everyone's concerted efforts, we were able to defeat this powerful opponent.
This guy's ability is indeed very strong, but it's a pity that he has done so many evil things, and that's why he ended up like this. Since everyone's fine, let's take advantage of the victory and kill him.
You have such a way with words, Elio. I'm gonna have to reset it, because we're getting the memory leak issues.
But yeah, so, like, eventually, I should probably play Golden Sun 1 and 2, but it's like, I played Dark Dawn first, and I didn't hate it, so when people talk about being super bad, it's very, like, I don't understand what's so bad about it. And I think it's one of those cases where, if you take the game on its own, it's not that bad, it's just because it's not what you expected. Like, because people like the rest of the series, their expectations were not what that game delivered. So, I know, like, from watching more videos about it, I've watched some, like, analysis videos about it and why it's, like, not loved and why it didn't do super well, and part of it is just, like, it doesn't really continue the story of the previous games, and it doesn't touch on the characters of the previous games that people wanted. Like, people really love the cast of the original games, and they did a generational leap and then didn't involve a number of the characters from the original games. So I know that put people off to some degree.
Yeah, that's
I think I sent you that video.
I think you did.
I don't know what you watched.
To answer this real quick too, Song says, yeah, you guys know Chinese? No, we have a translated script I've got on a second monitor over here, and Tyadran has the same.
Yeah. Do you want to re-screen share to me, by the way?
Yes, I should do that, thank you. I forget that I have to read.
I would love to be able to see what you're doing.
I'm currently buying the... what are these? War halberds for all our spearmen.
Okay, cool.
Don't spoil the magic, Disboard. Yeah, I speak Chinese, just situationally. Only as it pertains to Flame Dragon Knights.
Yes. No, actually,
as long as a Chinese person asks me something that is addressed in the game Flame Dragon Knights, I can answer.
No, what we have is we have a translated Korean script, and we just both speak Korean, so we're getting it translated from Chinese into Korean and reading that. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Let's just bury the lead a little more.
So we can buy heavy armor, but it's -2 move. I don't think
I know we didn't use it last time.
I don't think I want it this time either.
So unless we end up getting a situation where, like, okay, we just really need a lot more defense.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason.
I don't think we need anything else. I think we're good to go.
Let's see, what spells are available?
Explosive
Yeah,
Dragon
nothing-
Flame,
nothing
Thunder,
new.
Speech- Yeah, no. Captain, I didn't address his thing. I just became old, thank you. I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's... I don't know exactly what that was related
It was when I said I was in middle school when
Oh.
when Dark Dawn came out. I'm on the younger end of the retro game community, but because I didn't have modern consoles, like I did not have current generational consoles until the Wii came out, I played mostly older games. Like
Same.
I am young, but I grew up with a Game Gear, and nobody my age even knows what that is. So,
How old are you?
like, I am 27.
Okay, yeah, you're 1 year younger than me.
Yeah, like we're on the younger end of the Shining Force community, which is always weird to me. For a while I had a joke that my stream was just like the Shining Force nursing home, where like 50-year-olds come to watch Shining Force. Because it was like my whole like audience was like 40 plus. It's
My
like
YouTube analytics look like something.
yeah, and it was just kind of like, it's weird being on the younger end because I'm so immersed in these older games, but I actually am younger than most people.
Also, y'all don't even want to know how male-dominated this is.
Oh, insanely, I'm sure.
Numbers are scary. I've shown a couple of friends what my analytics say, and they're like, what?
You need to find your way into that lucrative female SRPG fan demographic.
I think the more Fire Emblem I do, the more that's gonna happen.
True, especially the more modern Fire Emblem.
Yeah. Bye, Ramtasm Enjoyer. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, I want to jump back. This game reminds me of a game called Vixen 357. The game was in Japanese, and I ended it without knowing the story, but the gameplay was still good. Yeah, it's funny to me that, like, people do that, but, like, it's, you know, it's something that you can do for games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having a good time doing it with this one. Although I am following the story. When I was originally playing this game, I was playing with no translation.
Fireroy says, now I feel old. Yeah, it's all, as somebody who takes care of old people, it's all about attitude. Like, I take care of people that are 70s, and to me, they're young still, because they decided they are. Like, it's just, it's all an attitude. I'm from Pakistan, and in here we used to get a cheap CD, and it had more than 100 plus games in it. There are no console stores here, so it's legal here. I see. Yeah, I've got some friends from Lebanon that talk about similar things. You can do that here, too. It's not real legal, but, like, I've definitely seen, like, mall kiosks that sell a console with 500 of the greatest games ever made.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a number of those, like, at the mall and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm tempted sometimes, like, just to be like, what is on this? Because I've seen so many, like, weird ROM hacks that they throw on it that I would just have never seen otherwise. I've seen a couple people make videos on it, like, I bought a Nintendo Switch on Temu. It was $20. What is it? What's gonna show up? I don't know.
It's a mystery.
But yeah, it's interesting to me. And yeah, we do have a couple other fans from Pakistan as well, which is also really interesting. How did you find my channel? I'm curious.
You can call them the Pack of Fans.
Fans.
I'm gonna get lynched by some Pakistani fans.
No. The now 3 that we have are very nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got no quarrels with anybody.
Temu Switch deals are legit. They have to be. It's how they sucker people in. I don't know a whole lot about it. Let's do the script for the next one, and then we'll keep this going. So that was 15.
Magic Legion.
Yep. This is the second to last chapter. We'll totally finish this tonight.
Yep, the last chapter will be a bit of a doozy, but we'll get it done.
Always is. Chapter 16. The Magic Legion.
It seems that Lacasse has also been solved by you. But no matter what, you will stop. I will stop you here.
Yeah, says you can only stop here.
You can only stop here.
The reason why Hutch colluded with the demons to rebel must be your fault. You were originally the great mage of the palace. Why did you fall into the darkness? and help Hutch usurp the throne.
Help! How touching! It's a noun! I'm just using him. All of this is to resurrect the great evil god and rule the whole world. Do you fools understand?
So this is very.
It's a noun!
This is very Dark Soul. I'll talk more about that in a minute.
It's very Dark Soul.
Why should the great evil god be resurrected? Don't you know that once the great evil god is resurrected, he will just destroy the entire world?
It's a shame that others call you a saint. It turns out that you're just an ordinary person who doesn't understand the truth. The words to destroy the rumors that the world will be destroyed are just words, lies fabricated by people.
What about your so-called truth?
If the great evil god is resurrected, his great power will make the whole world no longer have wars and famines, and people won't have to feel pain and sorrow anymore. Ah, what an ideal world it will be. Yeah, you're right. It seems that some of you can understand the true matter of things. Got? Elio, you.
Master, don't worry, just listen to me. What the guy just said is that if all human beings die, there will indeed be no more pain or sadness. Don't you agree?
You kid, do you really? Stupid guy, it seems you still can't understand. If you want to stop me, then you can't. If you want to stop me, you will only meet your death.
You're the culprit who instigated the rebellion. I will take your life today.
That last bit of Dis's line that I stumbled on was, if you want to stop me, then you can. There is only one way to die.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I'm looking at it and I am not blaming you.
Yeah, it's like, I had to sit there for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
One of the reasons that the PlayStation exploded here in Brazil is because it was super cheap to just open the newspaper, call a place, and buy like 15 games for the price of one. Wow. I mean, yeah, I've thought about that lately. Like, I've seen some videos and stuff talking about, like, PlayStation 2, 1 and 2, like, RPGs. And it is weird, just the sheer amount of games there were for the PS2.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like some of these have that many games anymore. What's up?
Random topical thing. 2 hours ago, Nintendo announced that Golden Sun 1 and 2 are coming out on Switch.
Interesting.
From Switch Online. Which I don't have, so it doesn't affect my ability to play them. But if there are people who want to play Golden Sun 1 and 2...
I have the cheapest tier.
I have, like, zero use for Switch Online. And I play my Switch so infrequently that it would just be money I'm dumping in a hole.
For me, I have, like, months where I play my Switch a ton, and then I won't touch it again for a couple months, and then I'll play it a ton, and I just kind of bounce back and forth between those.
Yeah.
But it's $20 a year, so I'm like, that's not, like, too much, but also I do wish we had a little bit better of a service.
Yeah.
I'm also not that invested in a subscription service of any kind for games. Like, I would rather just buy them.
Yeah, same. Although, I mean, I don't know how much a copy of Golden Sun would set me back at this point.
Yeah.
Probably quite a bit. You stream your Switch play? I can. I don't know about Niall.
Yeah, I've got a capture card, and you can find me doing that. In the early days of the channel, I was doing 3 houses. And it did not work the best. And I'm not sure why that is. I dealt with a lot of desync issues in terms of audio that really got tough to deal with. Like, it just required me resyncing audio in the edit so much. And then I never finished my 3 houses playthrough on here because nobody was watching it anyway. And it was a huge hassle. So I was just like, whatever. Like, I clung on for a long time that I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then I finally was just like, no.
Yeah, so actually Golden Sun doesn't go for that much.
No.
Like, it obviously depends on where you're buying from, but really it only generally goes up to like 60, 100 if you want like full carton box.
That's not that bad comparatively.
Yeah, for GBA games, that's actually not bad. GBA games they've reached that category of game where they tend to be like dime a dozen, or it's like literally $300.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot in between, but that's how it feels for all old games.
I hate the just.
Oh, I didn't speed it back up.
Oh, I hate the just always true fact that Pokemon games only go up in price after they've been released.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so frustrating because like I would love to play more of the older games, which I mean, I know I can emulate them obviously, but I don't know. I like having physical copies of the games, but when I sit down and see that like Ruby and Sapphire are selling for the same or more than they used to, it's like, come on, dude. It was GBA.
Etsy.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I could get like replica carts, but
yeah, I got 0.
there's ways around it, but it's like I like having the real thing to some degree.
Would be tough to play much when you're streaming a lot. Yeah, my time playing games outside of streaming has gone way down.
Yeah,
and there's been trade-offs too. That like this is my favorite genre, and it's how I used to unwind and relax. And now I only do it as it relates to the channel. So like that's been a transition as well that like I didn't totally think about before I started this.
Yeah.
You want to see me play Mario Brothers? I've played Mario Brothers. Like, it's fine. Like, as I commit absolute heresy, it's fine. I was always more of a Sonic person, because I just have never liked the character design of Mario that much. Like, I've never looked at Mario and been like, I want to play as that guy. I don't know. Like, Mario to me is just not cool.
Wow.
I know, absolute heresy.
I'm not super... I don't mind Mario's design as a character, but I've never been into the Mario games. Because I grew up playing Kid Chameleon, so when I think of a platformer, like, that's what I want.
I mean, I've played a lot of the Mario games. I did, like, that, you know, the original few, Thousand Year Door for Paper Mario. I did the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, like, a little bit of that series. I've dabbled in Mario a lot. I feel like if you, like, want to play games with friends, too, like, you kind of can't avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I've got Mario Kart. I just, it was months ago now, but I bought Mario Party Superstars. Have I played Front Mission? I have not, but I have the remake on my wish list. It was contentious.
Is it this? Which remake?
For Front Mission.
Yeah, which remake?
What do you mean? They oh, right, they did a DS one too, didn't they?
Yeah, because from what I've heard, the DS version's the better one to play.
They just remade it again for
on the Switch,
and
right?
Steam and everything.
Because what I heard, like, I watched a video comparing the different versions, and what it said was that the Switch version is not the version to play.
I don't know. That's probably...
I don't know how much you care. I just know because it's a game I ran across a while back, I was like, oh, I'm interested in playing that. And it looked like the version that would be best to play was the DS version.
I mean, I care. I would definitely, before I did that, I would talk to, like, some Front Mission people. Because I want to give
I wonder how big of a community that is.
I don't know.
Like, how many Front Mission people are there?
I know, we were talking about him earlier. I know Woodhouse was a Front Mission guy.
Oh, yeah.
I watched a lot of coverage on that from him and tuned into his streams for a little while. Because he was playing it. And he was mixed. He had, like, talked to the developers, like, in their Discord and stuff, too, about it. Like, he was enough into it enough to, like, do that and, like, have opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I want to deal with this. Is this guy... I know this guy's gonna nuke me here in a second, but I don't know how much I can deal with that.
Like, what you can do about it.
Yeah. I don't have the reach to do a whole lot about it right now. You played the first one for a podcast last year. You're thinking of making a recap video of Front Mission 1. I think that would be a great idea. There's not enough coverage of SRPGs. There's really not, outside of Fire Emblem.
Yeah, unless you're Fire Emblem, you just don't get much.
I think Woodhouse wanted more. I didn't get the sense that he preferred DS to Switch, though. Yeah, he definitely wanted more, but I think that's pretty common for, like, if you're remaking an old game. I don't know, there's a lot of things, like... that was a lot. I was hoping that would miss. There's a lot of things that, like, you want to be faithful, but also, like, we know a lot about quality of life now.
Yeah. One of the main things I heard about the Switch version is just that, like, it plays really slowly due to the animations. That, like, the moving animations and stuff are really slow, and it makes the whole experience take a long time.
I think they did an update where they added a fast forward. I'm not positive on that, but I think I saw that.
Okay. I mean, that could definitely help. I just know that was one of the points brought up in the video watch, and, like, watching the footage myself, I was like, yeah, that's really slow. Like, absurdly slow for every turn.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, we can go this way. Have you ever tried Battle for Westnoth? That game always beat me up. You know, I actually have.
I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah, that's I knew, I was like, that's an obscure one. Yeah, it's a neat, like, I think older SRPG that they're still making updates to. It's got a bunch of different campaigns. The multiplayer seems pretty fleshed out. It seems very labor of love. And it's one that you'll see on the channel at some point. But yeah, like, the little I've messed with it, it is, like, whenever you change, like, this is not that different from Fire Emblem and Shining Force, to the point that, like, you know, even though there's other things, like, you can't cast spells after moving, zone of control, stuff like that, it's not too much for me to adapt to. Battle of Westnoth feels different enough that, like, I definitely have had more trouble acclimating.
Gotcha.
Like, it's a lot more, like, the multiplayer especially is, like, a little bit Advance Warsy almost. That's a really stupid idea, probably. No, I bet those guys don't have enough move. Okay, now it was a stupid idea. I should save, just in case. But yeah, Westnoth is interesting. Slow animations is 100% the original Front Mission experience. Every map takes an hour. Yeah, Fire Emblem was not that different. Like, looking back, and I think that's also why in the re-release of Fire Emblem 1, they, like, made sure they had a speed up like you do for emulators, because I think they just knew.
Yeah, looking at FE1, like, battle animations, and just, like, watch them take a year to run over to the enemy is a little bit silly.
I think that Nintendo knew that was going to be a little bit of a hard, like, I get not wanting to, if you don't want to, like, get into the engine and do, oh, we have that, okay. If you don't want to get into the engine to change anything, like, a speed up button outside the engine is definitely a good starting place.
Yeah.
You played Front Mission with increased speed, so it was quite fun. Yeah, that definitely seems to help. And I don't know how to review stuff like that. You know, like, because I'm gonna, like, I think then speak. I'm gonna try to look up some stuff about, like, what these cycles and things, like, what was the DOS capable of back in the day, because I think that's relevant to the review of this game, potentially. Like, what really was the experience? Were people playing... I'm essentially playing this on double speed. Like, were people able to do that back in the day?
But I guess on the other hand, it's like, how much do you take away from the devs for what are technical limitations they had to deal with? Because it's like...
I take away any... Like, I can be sympathetic, but I take away anything that makes a worse experience for the user.
But it's like, what could they have done?
Even if the answer is nothing. You know, it's like, I would...
In that case, I mean, just like any DOS strategy game is just bad. Because they couldn't do better.
Well, I'm not saying that it's bad. Like, I don't think this game... Depending on how this ends, if it ends like the other route, like, then maybe we'll have that conversation. But, like, I don't think this is just bad. I don't know. Do you feel differently?
I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of... I tend to view stuff in the environment it came out in, where it's like... I compare it to other things on the platform and other games at the time. I don't have enough experience with DOS games to, like, compare this to things. But I mean, I've played like Apple II text adventures where it's like you move between a room and it's got a graphical display, but what that means is every time you change scenes, you have to sit there for like literally 30 to 45 seconds while it draws the entire screen like line by line. And that's a slow experience, but because that was like the best they can do and frankly groundbreaking for the genre at the time to have visual feedback in the way they do it, I still think those games are very good games. Even though if you're somebody looking for a modern gaming experience, it's not fun to sit there on a screen and wait forever for it to draw.
No. And I think there's a lot of validity in looking at, like, the competition and, like, how things were coming out at the time. I definitely think that's, like, important as well. But for like, this channel and kind of, like, the opinions that I'm trying to put forward, I'm trying to be like, would I recommend, like, do you need to seek this out and play it today? And, like, the experience just kind of is what it is. Because you know, if you don't do that, like, at some point you can kind of just extend it forever. That it's like, well, you know, when they re-release this on the Switch 8 and it runs at, you know, 700 frames per second and we have an AI that automatically, like, fixes the hair. Like, you know, it's like, you could do that ad infinitum. So I'm just like, I don't know, would I recommend it today? Like, what is the experience? Because I think about, like, I've had friends, you know, that I've recommended play Shining Force, because obviously. And they, you know, I'm like, well, it was really impressive for the time. And then, you know, they're like, well, be that as it may, I am playing it today. And it definitely colors people's opinions, like the experience they're currently having. So I'm like, I don't know. Both are important, I think. I think the major difference is that Fire Emblem is 12 against 40, front mission is 8 on 8, still an hour. Ooh. That does not, like... Maybe it's fine, but, like, yeah, you saying that does not sound good. That sounds like a little bit of a slog. And real quick, how did you find out about this Chinese game? People have talked about it on the Shining Force Central forums, and I do a lot of research on really obscure SRPGs. It's just something I'm really passionate about. And then a couple people had mentioned it to me, and the final impetus, like the final push, was actually Tyadran sending me a DM privately saying, like, hey, have you seen this? And I was like, alright, I think it's time.
Well, and the fact that, like, I had mentioned I had actually played some of this game before.
Yes.
So, like, I had actually had a minor amount of prior experience with this game, because a while back I went down a rabbit hole on trying to find stuff Shining Force like, and found this. And actually, I was playing it on my phone for a while.
Also, can I point out, in one map, what is it, 2 maps, Ray hit level cap.
Wow.
Very, very good unit. Yeah, these guys gotta go. I am not interested in waiting for them to exhaust all those casts. We'll heal it off, but like, oof. These two are like a really good power couple. Yeah, we're just gonna have to heal some of that off. I also recognize that these guys are about to become a problem. Yeah, you heal that. You finish healing. You get up there. XCOM and Syndicate were great SRPGs. I am very familiar with XCOM. We'll do it at some point. Syndicate, I don't know if I know what that is. There's some others like Jagged Alliance and Max. I own one of the Jagged Alliance games. I saw that it had co-op, and that fascinated me. I've not played it yet. But I pretty much have every SRPG I've seen on Steam in my wishlist, and then if it dips to like $1, I just pick it up.
How many cycles are we running at? I'm doing a little research on that.
We are currently at 5,892. I think it starts at 3,000. And then it goes up in really weird increments, because every time I push the button, I thought it was 300, but then it's like, we go from 3,300 to 3,630 to 3,993 to 4,392. Like, I don't know what is determining how many cycles we're at.
So something that's interesting, so I'm trying to find anything that correlates like DOSBox. So DOSBox cycles are obviously like trying to emulate how the original game would handle instructions. And what I'm seeing is, so there's some discussion on the speedrun.com forum for Dune, which they play on DOSBox.
I was wondering how
speedruns
handled that.
They're looking at that's something they're actually discussing, because like somebody was running the game at like a bunch of cycles, and there's some discussion about like we probably need to set like a standard amount.
Yes. Would need to.
But they hadn't. Like the person who was trying to like upload runs and stuff and had asked about cycle counts, and people said there weren't one, so he ran it like 40,000.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you? It would be faster.
But
like, significantly.
Yeah, so what they looked at was the floppy disk game requirements are a 286 processor, which is 6 megahertz to 20 megahertz, which corresponds to 6,000 cycles to 20,000 cycles in DOSBox. So you could be running this game at 20,000 cycles, and it would be hardware appropriate. So, like, this game, you could be running mega fast.
Do we want to, like... Is that what it would have been running at?
I mean, it's up to you. It says, like, the floppy disk game requirements are a 286 processor, which the bottom end is 6 megahertz, which is apparently 6,000 cycles. So we're playing below what like a standard processor would have been.
You said 6,000 cycles.
Yeah, and you said we're at
5892. So
yeah,
that's as close as I can get, because it goes up in these weird increments.
Well, yeah, which is fine, but it's like we're actually playing on like the slow end of where we could be playing.
I'm like, do we want to see how this looks at 40,000 cycles? Like, is that? Would you ever?
I mean, up to you. I wouldn't mind going up to, I mean, like I said, this discussion is claiming that like 20,000 cycles would be the upper end. The thing with a lot of games that time is like system performance varied a lot by your processor. I know that's a problem with playing Lego Island on modern hardware, because it's locked to your computer's processor rate. So everything goes mega fast if you play it on a modern PC. The camera turn rate is locked to frame per processor cycle.
I actually had been wanting to go back and maybe play one of those again. I had not. I know that's complicated though. I had not tried yet. But yeah, that sounds even more complicated than I first thought.
I mean, like, if we wanted to bump it up temporarily, like 10,000, put us in like kind of the middle of the range and see what that feels like. All right. That seems like it would be a reasonable.
Here is 11,478.
that looks good.
Yeah,
that looks like it feels good.
All right, let's keep it there. I thought I was where we should be, but maybe not.
No, so what we were playing it at would have been like, here's what this would have played like on bad hardware, and that was an improvement over how we played the entire first run.
That feels a little bit fast.
A little bit.
I'm fine with it. Like, we'll try it for a little while. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I did, Tismore. I appreciate the reminder. As soon as the thought came to me, I made a save state.
Yeah.
Because
range use
I
of this
don't know
game.
what's gonna... Especially like we've talked about with the memory leak issue, I do not know how that's gonna affect that.
Yeah, songs. Range units of this game have absurd range. The magic ranges go up to 9.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's ludicrous.
Okay, what does enemy turn look like? Do we just fly around? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we could bump it down to like 80,000, like 8,000 if that feels better to you, but like, I can see this being a reasonable play experience.
Yeah.
At the time. Like, if it actually ran this fast at the time, this is more than reasonable.
Yeah, yeah. Whoa, Lego Island. Yeah, do you feel less old now?
I love Lego Island.
I played,
Let Lego. Let Lego.
The one I played was Lego Island Extreme Stunts 2. That's what we had.
Oh, that's like... You know, I was gonna say that's like the worst one. That's not true. Lego Island 2 is really bad. But the original is super good. Lego Island 2 is like an assembly of mini-games with an attempt at a plot to put them together. And the mini-games all kind of stink. And the plot's really bad, and the voice... You know, it would be funny to play just for the voice acting. If you have not experienced Lego Island 2 ever, it is so badly voice acted and so dumb, it would be funny just to see how you feel about it.
I mean, I'm not opposed to doing, like, some old games just for funsies on stream. If we can get them working. Like, different people's childhood games.
I loved Lego Rock Raiders.
I was about to say I played a lot of Rock Raiders too.
I never got far in it because I would play it like a little and then drop it and come back, but it has such a nostalgic place in my heart.
Yeah,
I think was it you that I talked about that there was a recent like fan-made recreation of it?
I don't think we talked about that. That's cool.
There's a fan-made remake that came out recently called Manic Miners, which includes the entire original campaign, plus a new campaign, plus I think there's like some really popular mod or something, and they included that campaign.
Cool.
So, I haven't tried it yet, I really want to, but it looks like a pretty dead-on recreation of the original game.
Of course, I still have my real copy sitting over here by my desk. I don't have a CD drive, so I can't play it, but I've got it here.
Yeah, I've got mine somewhere as well. I should go through, like, all my old games at some point, like, and talk to you guys about them. I don't know where they all... I've got, like, a sleeve thing, that, like a little folder that's got all of them in it.
I've really been thinking recently about wanting to replay Sonic Heroes, which I know is... you know, say with me, one of the least favorite games of the Sonic franchise.
Is it really?
It's pretty unpopular, and you want to know why? Because it's not Sonic Adventure 3.
Oh. I feel like in hindsight, we got over that.
There's... people who grew up with Adventure have not gotten over it.
I grew up
other
with
people, maybe.
I grew up with Adventure, and I really liked Heroes.
You're also a little more sane than I feel like a lot of people are. I can discuss with you why I don't like Shining Force 2. Some people don't let me do that. And the Sonic fan base tends to be very extremist.
Until the guy I paid gets to your house.
You just keep me distracted, keep me off guard. I feel like I can speak openly about my controversial Shining Force opinions. You're actually recording all of this. You're going to use it to blackmail me.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, we are recording all of this. I know we're recording all of this. You don't even have to be secret about it.
Yup. It flows smoother, but it does seem to animate a bit fast. Yeah, I agree. Do you guys read manga, manhwa, or manhwas? Yes. I really like manga. Naruto has probably been my favorite. I know that's like the basic answer, but that's what I like. Manhwa, I've got a friend that's been getting me into lately. If you guys don't know what that is, it's essentially like South Korean manga. And I'm currently reading Noblesse, which is one of my friend's favorites. But I've read a couple, like Winter Woods and maybe Matt to Be. Done a couple on Webtoons. Yeah, I'm gonna slow it down just a hair.
I enjoy manga. I wouldn't say anymore that I actively read it. I have series that I enjoy a lot, and there's some I read every now and then, but it's not like I'm not actively reading manga anymore. Not because I fell out of it, but just I don't have time, dude. I don't have time to do anything. I don't read either of the others.
I don't even know what the third one is.
I don't know. It might just be an alternate spelling of the second. But I think my wife and one of her friends are into some of those, but not like a ton as far as I'm aware. It's not something I've really ever looked into.
Manhwa seems to be more female dominated. From
It
my like
definitely seems to be from the few people I know.
understanding.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something that's very... It seems like a lot of what I've seen of it is targeted towards women, so...
I have been told, though, that there's, that's not true for all of them, necessarily. There's a couple, like, I think it's like Lore Olympus that have hit pretty mainstream, and the audience for that maybe is a little bit different.
Yeah, it's possible.
No, gotta be one close. I might
I
just
don't know.
soak these guys, like... Yeah, probably.
I'm sure I've mentioned it before. Mare is my favorite manga series.
You've
Which is a
told
little
me.
bit an older one.
I don't know if you've...
Yeah,
I know you also like Zatch Bell.
I do. I haven't gotten through most of Zatch Bell, so it's like... I can't even say like, oh yeah, I've read it, it's so great. It's like, I really enjoy it, but I actually have not read that much. But yeah, Mare is the only series I own all of.
Hey, Griff. It was good. Cavern of Darkness and SFA is super hard. I don't know about it. I assume you're playing like 3.0 or whatever number it is. Don't know what it looks like then. You got a top 10 manga channel with 50k subs? That's awesome, dude. Like, I want to get back into reading more manga. I haven't done it in a little while as well. Because I'm curious about, like, the new wave of the big ones, you know, like, what is it called? The superhero one?
My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Or Boku no Hero Academia, if you're really a fan and have to use the Japanese name.
Whatever. I don't...
I've had people correct me on using the localized name, and I'm like, get over yourself a little bit, dude.
I only get that if it's super different. Because some of them, like, have really dumb English names, and then if you look at, like, what it originally
is... It's just literally the same.
We're just gonna keep soaking that.
Yeah, if I were going to get back into manga, honestly, the next thing that's on my list to read is Mob Psycho. Because I love the anime, and I would like to read the manga. Like, I think Mob Psycho is my #1 favorite anime at this point. I love it a lot. But I haven't read the manga. I have the first book, but I haven't sat down and read it.
Okay. Noblesse is mid, it's overhyped.
I don't know what that is.
It's the manhwa I said I was reading.
Oh, okay.
I actually just read it last night. I just finished season 1. Which is like chapter like 100 or something out of like 500. I have my complaints with it so far. I don't like hate it, but like I'm curious where some of these ideas are gonna go, and some of it I feel like is a little bit clunky translation wise. And it's hard to tell. I know very little Korean. Like, so it's hard for me to gauge, like, how much is clunky in the translation versus The author just wrote it kind of clunky. Like, there's like a secret organization, and everybody that talks about it that's in the organization just refers to it very vaguely as the organization. And I'm like, yeah, like, that doesn't feel super natural.
Like the one from Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird when nobody, like,
Yeah.
we're playing the pronoun game, and that, like, nobody uses the accurate titles for what we're talking about to keep the reader in the dark, and I don't love that.
Yeah, I'm never a fan of the whole, like, we're being really cagey about using the actual name in cases where in real life nobody would speak that way.
Yeah, no, like, you know, if you're gonna show me a meeting between higher-ups in the organization, they definitely should be talking about what they're doing a little bit more by name, or at least codename.
Yeah, it's like it only really works to
It's weird
do
when
that
you're
if, like,
meeting...
the characters involved don't know.
Yes, it's weird when
'Cause
you're meeting with a large group of people and constantly the vibe is like, I know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, you get what I'm putting down? It's like, this is not a good way to run anything.
I really like, and it is tragically short-lived, it's literally one manga volume, or there's 3 episodes of an anime Bus Gamer, where, well, nobody has. It was canned, like, almost immediately, and has never come back.
Rip.
But it, you know, has the characters are contracted into this, like, corporate game thing, but the whole thing, they don't really have a clue what they're signing up for most of the time, and, you know, they don't know the names and what's going on for a lot of things. So, like, then it kind of works that we're in the dark because the characters don't know either, so they're just totally clueless.
That works.
But yeah, when characters who should not be so precious about what they're saying, it always feels weird.
Yeah, I also read a lot of Lookism, which is another big manhwa, and I want to go back and get more... It's still ongoing. Noblesse is done. But I also, like, had some issues with Lookism that I've been told it resolves, but, like, they kind of, I felt like, changed the genre of the story. And I don't know. I wasn't... Because it's about a guy who is not conventionally attractive. He's very overweight. He doesn't have, like, a super pretty face. And it's about his life, and he starts waking up. Every time he goes to sleep, he wakes up in the body of a boy that is conventionally attractive and very fit. And so it's this kind of, like, commentary on how people treat him differently, how his life is different, when he is not at all different. I mean, it's the same guy. I'm gonna have to pull back and heal. And I was really fascinated by that premise. I think it's really interesting. But then they introduce, like, the whole thing is portrayed as, like, this is something that, like, God did to him to, like, give him these experiences, sort of. But then a girl shows up that is the exact same way, and they, like, made it, like, a weird sci-fi thing.
Okay.
That, like, he's not unique, and, like, this is a thing that people do, and it's just, I was like, this is really
kind of weird.
A weird direction to take this.
Yeah, that's pretty bizarre.
And that's kind of where I stopped. Got to Shade Abbey, made it to the boss, and had to egress. I had Maxine and Erican both out of MP and had like 5 HP. Jeez. Most manhwas are for men. That's interesting. I wonder if it's just stateside that it doesn't feel that way.
Maybe?
In Korea, I have no idea.
Yeah, because, like, I see the people who I know that read them, and I see, like, the stuff I see posted on, like, Twitter or wherever, and it's like, this does not feel directed towards a male audience.
No. Also, like, I always have to preface things, because people get weird about stuff. I don't think that's necessarily bad either. And, like, there's also
it's just
nothing wrong with enjoying that. Like, I watched all of Downton Abbey and had a pretty grand time. Which definitely is not for my demographic.
Yeah, and I've definitely enjoyed media that was not intended for my demographic, but it means that as a genre, it doesn't hold a lot of like, yeah, I'm gonna go look for some of this to read, because it doesn't fit what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I've talked about sometimes that I do just try to like go super far outside of what's marketed to me. Like I talked a while back about like I watched a Chinese romance show period piece just because I was like, this is not marketed to my demographic at all, and I would never see this if I wasn't like heavily seeking it out just to try it. And
Yeah.
it was not my favorite thing, but I came away glad I did it.
And that was why I watched I didn't finish it, but like why I started watching Pretty Cure, where I was like, I wanna watch an actual like magical girl anime. It's such a
Okay.
well-known trope, but I've never actually watched one.
I don't think I have either.
So I was kind of like, you know what? Here's this genre and this trope that is really well known. I'm super familiar with existing, but I want to try actually watching it. And it was like, it had its quirks that made me end up dropping it, but it was mainly for like the way they resolved the conflicts rather than. It was just the fact that every single episode, at least of the ones I got through, it just ends with, oh yeah, we should use our one big finishing attack. And that's how they always, like, end every episode. And it was kind of like, well, okay. Like, everything else was good, but there's no dramatic tension when you get to the actual conflict parts of episodes, when you know it's like, you need to just hold hands and use marble screw, and then you'll defeat them. Don't worry.
This is how I felt about Bleach, and I did end up enjoying Bleach.
Yeah.
The manga. Yeah, like... I really like...
Well, and I would say, actually, I might enjoy Pretty Cure more as a manga, because in a manga, they're not reusing the same like 5-minute animation of the attack every time. Because that's part of what's with the anime, when it's like, when you're rolling the same clip over and over, if I were reading a manga and it's drawn a new way every time, I can put up with it. Like, I read the Mega Man manga and loved it, and it had tons of repeat attacks and stuff. But it's like, the fact that it's drawn differently, at least the visual interest is there. But when both the narrative and the visual interest is lost because they do the same thing and it looks the same because they're saving on the animation budget, it kind of kills it for me.
I agree, that can be rough. As someone who watched the review of... Okay, here we go. Boku no Natsu Yasumi. I am tickled by the fact that someone is a purist about keeping Boku in the title. I have no idea what that word means. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Tispor. That actually does really help, and I am bad at saying the YouTube words. Lookism has a spinoff called Administrator Kang. See, my friend that like, I talk manhwas with, I've talked about her before. She's, like, one of my, like, IRL best friends, really tired. She got a lot further in Lookism than I did, and also ended up kind of falling out of it. She said it gets better, like, at dealing with the thing I had a problem with, but she was like, the author just kind of got into the weeds and kept adding side characters and kept adding B and C and D plots. And she eventually was like, you know, with how, like, this story is updated, like, it's months before we get back to different plots, and it just got really difficult reading it over as it was coming out to keep up with who is where and who is who, and it was a lot. So I think a spin-off would, like, probably exacerbate that problem, like, even more.
You know, saying that a lot of older anime have a big problem overusing keyframes. With Pretty Cure, it wasn't just keyframes, because it was like the whole, when they're doing the attack, the whole background's cut out, so it was very Power Rangers-esque, where it's like it just cuts away to this canned sequence they use all the time. Like, overusing a keyframe is, you know, it's fine. They were saving on animation budget, but it was just like the entire animation was just standalone enough. They would just, you know, splice it into the episode, and there's the ending. Which, you know, they would show the enemy get hit by or whatever, but the big, like, attack announcement and activating it and stuff, multiple minutes of the same animation is just kind of like, well,
where you just want to jump ahead.
Yeah.
Which
is
never what you want.
Which is funny because it was a series where I would watch the intro with every single episode because the animation's beautiful and the theme is a banger. So I would not skip the thing that most people skip all the time, but I couldn't get over the finishing attack thing.
Boku is Japanese for I or me, but it's primarily used by little boys. So getting mad over using a translated title is very Boku. That is very ironic.
I don't know if I would say it's primarily used by little boys. It's used a lot in songs as well, and by younger men. It's not just little boys.
I have no clue.
I've studied enough Japanese to take issue with that statement.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to take a specific example, for instance, in Smash 4, Roy says Boku wa makanai, and I don't think I would call Roy a little boy. If you want one that people are going to be familiar with. And he refers to himself with Boku there.
Depends on your translation, or, I'm sorry, on your viewpoint. I do think Roy is quite young.
He is young, and Boku is used mostly by younger men, but it's not like a little boy to me. Roy is not like, you know, a 10-year-old.
No, he might be like 14, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how old Roy is. He also seems aged up in Smash Bros, though.
Yeah, but one thing I've also listened to discourse on is the fact that there's a lot of Japanese songs sung by women that'll use Boku in the lyrics, and discussion on why that is. So
yes,
it's not like it's just a little boy word. So, I don't know. That's my Japanese rant for the evening.
Till we get you started on another one. Fine, sub young for immature, and I'll call it square.
Well, I mean, what else you gotta do? Be a tough guy and go with Ore? Like, you think everybody should use Watashi or what? Like, where are you standing on this issue? What should they use instead?
I'll get that poll up in just a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, this guy's like... Alright, that works. How many casts of that do you have? 8! I love that for you.
He's got plenty. Plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that. I don't want to wait for all of his casts.
You don't?
I don't.
What a shame.
So we're gonna creep up. To finish talking about Bleach too, Kubo, the guy that writes it, is very, very... I think he's a fantastic artist. I adore his artwork. And I think the character design carries him very far. He has some of the best side characters in all of anime, I would say. In terms of, like, narrative writing, Bleach ends every fight the same way. I can't possibly win. And it's not like what you said, it's not a reused power, it's that I can't possibly win, here's a new power.
Oh, that's Dragon Ball too. That's why I can't get into Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball at least hangs on to stuff longer. Like, they don't flout it, as somebody who likes both, they don't flout it nearly as much as Bleach does. Because Bleach, it's literally like Ichigo just stacks new powers on top of new powers. And, I mean, almost every, like, fight past a certain point is him getting a new power. And then there's also that the overall arcs for things like Dragon Ball change. Like the Saiyan arc, the Frieza arc, the Cell arc, they're all really different in a lot of ways, and Bleach, they are not. Bleach, as soon as the worst is somebody gets kidnapped or abducted, and as soon as we finish that arc, another character gets abducted, and we do the entire, like, sort of arc again. And
Lovely.
That was pretty, like... Reading it as it was coming out, I definitely was like, oh, we're, like, doing this again, huh? Like, we're doing the whole thing again. And that...
It should be Ore-sama. Yes, exactly. That's how everyone should refer to themselves properly in Japanese.
Why is this battle so long? Songs, you have no idea.
Yeah, that has been the latter portion of this game. In general, they are long and repetitive, and that's just how it is. It's a real shame because the early to mid game was really strong,
Yeah.
and the battles weren't too bad, but the late game really drops the ball in this game.
This is Route B. We already finished Route A, and you can find that in the live tab of my channel if you want to go back and rewatch it or skim through it. Rough.
Yeah, very much so.
It's very, very long, and it's like multiple casters that we just have to wait out all of their casts and heal it off. It's not good.
It's not great. And like I said, it's really a shame because the first, like, half to 70% of this game was really good.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, at the end of this, like, we're gonna talk about, do I think this is a good game? And I really don't know at current.
Yeah, it's really hard to say, because there's things I really like, and there's things that are really not great. It has a lot of really cool ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to step away for a quick sec, I'll be right back.
Sure. Let's see. Yep, but I love Bleach. I do too. I also really like Kubo's other, like, one-shot zombie powder. I guess it's not a one-shot, it got like 3 books, and then he came up with Bleach and was like, we're not doing zombie powder anymore. But I really hope he goes back to finish zombie powder at some point, because I think it was very special. Okay, you're only level 14. You can have that. I don't think she'll get that kill, in hindsight, but... I had an RSS feed to watch fan sub episodes the day after they aired in Japan for years. Oh, that's fun. Bleach also, though, is one that has, like, the fillers are crazy. I saw, like, I don't know how that happened. I saw this insane footage the other day of a woman that was a lawyer trying to defend a rapper in court, and she literally is like, to make her point, which I don't even know that I got it, she was like, yeah, people, it's like the Bount arc in Bleach, and I was just like, wow, like, if you were defending me and you started talking about arcs in anime, I would be like, oh no. It was something like, we do this for a long time, and then as soon as the arc ends, nobody remembers, or something. But people in the comments, of course, pointed out that it's like, the Bounce arc is filler, so like, that's really not a great example anyway. Yeah, it's an insane clip. Dark God Very Evil Battle was like 150 turns. Yeah, it was a lot. We are missing this guy a lot, too. We're just gonna heal some of our people.
I'm back.
Alright, sweet. You still need to watch the new Bleach season. I do too. I take to manga a lot more than I do anime because I feel it goes so much faster.
I definitely read a lot faster than I could watch an episode.
Well, like, they just... Also, like, I didn't even realize there was that mage up there. I don't know what he's doing.
Chilling.
I had no idea what a filler arc was back then. I don't know that I did either. But, like, there's certain, I guess, just pressures in anime to, like, have certain things take longer.
Yeah.
And I don't always appreciate that. There's times that I'm just like, can we just get on with the story?
I mean, to an extent, part of it, I mean, depending very much on the series, the longer they draw something out, the more they can use the same assets, instead of having to actually, like, make more progress and more animation cells.
Yeah, but I don't. A lot of the times it gets too much for me.
Yeah.
There's just stuff, like, I had comparisons with, like, Naruto that was like, if I was reading this, like, how much... I read and watched Naruto, so I had a decent idea of, like, how long stuff should be taking. And there were just
Yeah.
times that I was like, I cannot believe we're still on this.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, when you've got the anime, they'll kill a few extra seconds on held shots and stuff when, you know, you're reading it and you're like, every single panel has dialogue. There's no downtime here. It's just all happening.
Yeah. Bleach became a bit stale after Aizen was first captured. Yeah, I think that... I thought it was over. I thought it was completely over. And I, like, had my kind of farewell with the series. And then it just doesn't end. It just keeps going. And I'm like... That was a choice that I think ultimately maybe was the wrong one. Considering they also, like, made him stop writing it at some point. Like, it felt like he was just never gonna end it on his own. And I think that, like, he should have been allowed to finish that arc he was on without being rushed so much by the publisher, because they gave him very little time.
Well, I do think, so Fire Roy, one thing I find interesting personally is that when you look at a lot of
I'm sorry,
current...
real quick.
Yeah, we should do this dialogue
You
before
can talk in chat if you're watching. I really is apparently tuned in. And she says, you're mid. Because we were talking about Noblies, and then she sent me a gif of what's his name? Ike from South Park that says suck my balls. That's hilarious. Look, I'm enjoying Noblies so far.
Yeah, I think about the filler thing, one of the things I've noticed more about current anime is more of them are on series that are done.
Yes.
Or like pieces of media that are finished. A lot of the ones that are still, you know, running alongside series are for series that they were doing that 20 years ago.
Right,
where they started following the series. And...
I tried to, like, wait till this dialogue was done. I have to go pee so bad. I will be right back.
Okay, yeah.
You can
so,
entertain.
Yeah, so you have less of that happening anymore because they're picking media that is so far ahead or is already finished, and it kind of alleviates that problem. Like, that's why I really like, one of the things I really like about Mob Psycho is you don't have any filler because the series was done. Like, it was already all done and out. And at the end of season 2, people are like, all right, we're probably going to get season 3, and it's going to cover this little bit that's left. And it did, and then it was done. And there was no, like, extra filler needed. Because you don't need to stall for time. So I definitely understand, like, why filler originally existed. It makes me question the idea of trying to do the anime alongside the published media back then. It makes sense from a business perspective, but from a practical perspective, it's very much like... It makes me think of back in the day where you would be watching on slow internet the red and the gray bar on YouTube videos. You're like, please load before I get there. Please load before I get there. And it's like, that's probably what anime was doing with manga, where it's like, please write this before we get there. Because my favorite manga, Mare, which I mentioned earlier, the anime follows it pretty much beat for beat up to like episode 70. And then I don't know what happened with the publication of the manga, but suddenly they just write an entirely new ending to the series. Like, the last 30 to 40 episodes are just an entirely new storyline that does not happen in the manga whatsoever, period. None of it happens. They even wrote into the anime 12 new villains. Like, 12 entirely new villains. They kill off the entire main cast in the anime, which, again, doesn't happen in the manga. They change the protagonist's final ability. Like, his 8th and final power-up is different in the anime. So anytime you look at, like, websites about the series where they have a list of his powers, they have to list, like, power 1 through 7 and then 8 anime and 8 manga because they're entirely different and do different things. And it drives me crazy because I love the Mare manga and I really like the first 70 episodes of the anime, but I can't recommend the anime to anybody because the ending is totally different and bad. The lower amount of episodes allows for better animation. I mean, allows for better animation sometimes. There was that 3D Berserk redo that was terrible. Yeah, Mare's anime was handled awfully, and it's really sad because I really like the manga. And specifically anime-wise, well, the English dub never got finished, but I really like the English dub, actually, of that series. there's certain line deliveries that are still stuck in my head, you know, a decade and a half later. So, I will always recommend the manga series, and it's short, so it's not a big investment. It's 15 volumes. Mare with an umlaut over the A. Awesome series. I love it to death. It's very, like, middle schooler shonen, but it's good and it's fun, and all the characters are good. Fairy Tail is the most repetitive anime ever. I've not watched it. Fairy Tail is one of those things where it's... I've actually had people recommend it to me because it's like, oh, if you liked Mare, you'll probably end up liking this because it's got some similar ideas. But then every time I look at it, I'm like, this is not like the thing I like. This is not the same thing. So I've never actually given it a chance. But yeah, I'm a weird fan of anime and manga because I actually haven't watched or read that much. And even fewer are the series I've gone through to completion. I love Zatch Bell, but I've neither read... Like, I haven't read 90% of the manga, and I've probably only seen, like, 24 episodes. 24 is probably a lot. I've probably seen less than 24 episodes in my lifetime, but I love the series. I think it's really neat. So, yeah, the Fairy Tail appearing to be very fan service is one of the main reasons I didn't get into it. I appreciated Mare being not fan servicey. There's like one character, maybe two, who are a little fan servicey, but it's not blatant and it's not egregious. Try Yongbi the Invincible. I'm gonna look this up. Yongbi the Invincible.
I have returned.
Welcome back. I was just talking about Mare.
Oh, I'll have to look back through the VOD, unless it's stuff I already heard.
It was just talking about how, I mean, it was tacking on to the filler discussion, how they redid the entire ending to the anime. I mean, which I think I've already told you about, where they just wrote a whole new ending.
They redid all of Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, Brotherhood.
I've
heard Brotherhood's the one to watch if I ever watch it.
I can multitask while watching anime. Hard to do that when reading. I'm gonna catch up on chat real fast. Yes, but I finally hit a point that I was like, if I'm watching an anime that I want to multitask during, maybe I shouldn't be watching it. So, like, that's how I've been feeling. I don't know, I've gotten more picky with the media I'm consuming by a lot. Just, I don't know, like, it just felt, I realized I wanted to multitask while I was doing a lot of things, and I was like, maybe I just shouldn't do those things. It's kind of the same with, like, I haven't been as good about it lately, but for a while I was on a kick for, like, social media, that I was like, I could, like, browse Twitter for, like, an hour or two, and I don't feel like it's... I don't, when I'm done with that time, I don't look back at it and go, I feel good about that. I feel like that was time well spent. So I try to do other things. It's something that I've been trying to be better about. Planet Namek will blow up in 5 minutes, 23 episodes later. Oh, we only have 4 minutes. Yes. The pacing of the original Dragon Ball is, like, atrocious, but it's also such a classic that I'm like, I don't recommend Kai either. It's an enigma. I'm just like, read the manga. That's kind of what I mean. I'm not sure how accurate the case is anymore, but filler arcs also used to be used to give the manga time to get ahead. Yes, I'm aware of that. Watching Goku power up for 5 episodes is fun to watch. I'm assuming that's sarcasm, because yeah, oof. Fairy Tail's the most repetitive anime ever. I do feel like Bleach is a lot more repetitive than Fairy Tail, though I made it to the end of Bleach and I didn't make it to the end of Fairy Tail, so, I mean, I guess that there's something there. Right, which is something I'm incredibly happy about, plus the lower amount of episodes, a less or better animation. Okay, that's about doing done books. Yes. Yeah. Yep, oh, okay, I hadn't even gotten there yet. Full Metal Alchemist, yeah. Fairy Tail is mostly fan service. I think there's nothing wrong with fan service if that, like, is what your thing is. like, it's weird when you start throwing it into something really heavily that hasn't been that. But, like, if that's what your thing is, then I think that's fine. And Fairy Tail is very much that from the beginning. I like to look at pretty women, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Try Yongbi the Invincible. Never even heard of it. I'll have to look that one up. It's a manhwa, but it's in the style of manga. Okay, sounds neat. Brotherhood is great, but I love the OG so much. Yeah, in hindsight, some of these I think we can look back on and be like, it was an alternate story with some of our favorite characters. So, like, I think some of them looking back are better than they were coming out. Brotherhood is by far the better version. Yeah, I would bet, but I'm far too busy to not multitask anywhere possible. I can't watch subbed anime for that reason most of the time. See, I like only do subbed anime because I hate the way the state of our translations in the States. It's rough. But I've talked about that a good amount already as well. Alright, you ready for the scene?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet. Dis, your plan to resurrect the great evil god is now impossible to realize.
Then you're wrong. Now the great evil god is about to be resurrected, and it is through your hand that this is facilitated.
What? What did you say? We have the same thought. Did the plan you mentioned on Mount Yam refer to this? Could it be related to the power of the royal family's secrets?
That's right. The power secreted by the royal family is actually the two sets of equipment, Fire Dragon and Black Dragon. The power of good and evil emitted from them. The reason why they are placed together is to use the two forces in such that they interact with one another, creating a magic circle that was enough to seal the great evil god. Now that these two sets of equipment have been taken away by Ray and Rhett, there is no longer any power to imprison the great evil god.
Interesting. So instead of using the Sword of Light and Darkness to create the Chaos Breaker, we have taken the Sword of Light and Darkness, and this has brought about the end.
Yeah.
Neat. I like this.
Also, like, why didn't this happen the other route? Because, like, they also took them there. Anyway.
This guy's body turned into ashes and disappeared. Oh, it's my fault. If I didn't seize the Black Dragon's sword and armor, this situation wouldn't have occurred.
Brother, how can I blame you when you were controlled by Dis? But now we have to find a way to remedy this. Let's discuss the issue later. The next batch of enemies is approaching.
I mean, Griff, probably, like, secreted would be better than secreted, but they're spelled the same. And that's how I read it.
I mean, yeah.
Secreted is a much less common word than secreted. So that's kind of what I default to when I see that set of letters.
I can address the Shining Force mobile game real fast. I've got a couple of videos on it, yeah, that you can follow, and I need to make one that just sums it all up. But basically, the company that was making it had financial trouble because their game King's Raid that they were, like, completely built on, just stopped making as much money. They made some bad financial choices, and now they're trying to sell off the entire company, and the last that we heard was that some companies had made offers, and we don't know if any of them have been accepted. So, will it get finished? Maybe. I don't know. It depends how far along it is, if they want to keep the same devs, and how it was coded, so that if new devs could make sense of it. I have no clue. So right now, everybody says it's been canceled. Not exactly. It's up in the air.
Yeah, it's kind of like on indefinite hiatus. If someone picks it back up, it could be continued, but we have no lead on if or when that might happen.
Yeah, any news that comes out about it is in Korean, and it's very hard to follow, and I've had to use, like, their search engines and stuff. It's really convoluted, and I've been lucky enough that I have a guy named Club Wisdom 8 that is another YouTuber that has been kind enough to collaborate with me on that is really into Korean mobile games specifically. And I think was a big guy in the King's Raid community. I don't know how big that is. Like, we're getting real at the bounds of my knowledge. Good night, Tisbor. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going into the final episode, so I hope you come back and watch the VOD on that. But yeah, it's really hard for me to get invested into phone games, because to me they're just so ethereal that, like, you know, I'm not going to be able, if I spend money or whatever, I'm not going to be able to come back and play this again in maybe even a year.
Yeah, I refuse to spend money on phone games, but I played a, like, phone gacha strategy RPG way back when Heroes was popular. I played a different one.
Which was?
Because I was like, Phantom of the Kill.
Okay, I have not heard of that one, but
it's probably like hyper obscure.
Tell me about it after stream ends, because I should do a whole like SRPG like collective on mobile games at some point.
It appealed to me because I was like, Heroes is like kind of a neat idea, but I really don't like how it looks. And I was like, hey, there is a like fully 3D strategy RPG on mobile that's very Heroes-like, which was the one I played, and, you know, had actual 3D battle sequences and whatnot. And I was like, this is cool. Like, this looks good. But I quit playing when it got to the point where it's like I either need to grind or spend a bunch of money, and that turned me off of it.
Inevitable.
But I got, you know, a good few weeks of play out of it. It was fun.
That's not bad for a mobile game.
Yeah.
Heroes, I also, like, I think Langrisser did that much better. And I have not played it because I would play the mobile game after I play the Langrisser games.
Yeah.
I like that. The problem with Heroes, I think, is that the maps are locked into being too small, and the skills have just gone way off the rails. It looks like Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. And that, like, if you watch some of those presentations, like, they have to scroll down on the thing to show you what the whole skill is, and I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah, I think the thing to me is that, like, Heroes is both too simple and too complex, and is frankly kind of bare bones for what I want, where it gets by on the franchise. It gets by on its franchise and not because it's a good game.
I heavily agree.
Which was where I enjoyed Phantom of the Kill, because it had like full-size maps that you'd have to pan around because they were full-size maps. And I was like, this is a real phone strategy game, and I was a little elitist about it, and maybe I'm kind of still elitist about it, but
no shame.
I'm less attached to that game anymore, and more just feel like this is what like Heroes could be doing if they weren't. I mean, they're doing what works with the least effort possible. It makes them infinite money because it's easy to make. So, I can't blame the business model. I can just be unhappy about it.
Yeah.
You know, do 4 pieces of art for a character, put together the paper doll model for their battle animations, and there you go. Instead of having to do an actual 3D model and unique animations and stuff.
I have a guy messaging me on Discord that, I think he found me through, like, the Shining Force Reddit or something. And he was basically wanting spoiler-free guides to Shining Force 1, and he's just messaged me. Had a question. Are there any missable characters in Shining Force 2? So I sent him the link to this, and I was like, if you want to join, we'll fill you in.
Yeah. I like the, I'm
gonna start buying
the
stuff.
old RPG classic Shining Force shrines as my go-to guides.
But he wanted spoiler-free. So, like, he doesn't want to know who the characters are.
Oh, he doesn't want to know who they are. That's going to be hard to find a guide for.
Yeah, I've thought we should make something like that for a while, for people that don't want any spoilers. That's just, like, you know, tiers of, like, you may find, like, there's 3 secrets in this town. Don't leave till you found 3 secrets. Items or characters. And then, you know, another tier of that. Like,
well, then have like things you can reveal where it's like, I still haven't found 3 things. I want a hint for where to find one of them.
Exactly. Because I would be interested in that. I haven't decided how I'm going to do Shining Force 3 yet. I kind of don't want to use a guide at all. And I know people are going to, like, fuss at me and stuff, and I don't know how feasible that is for a YouTube Let's Play to, like, avoid spoilers, because if I miss a character, people are instantly going to be like, you missed this guy. But I'm like, I kind of just want to. I think I kind of just want to experience it completely vanilla, and just see what I find.
So I think the thing with Shining Force 3